Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto received special training at a young age part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Naruto wasn't your average academy student. Unlike the others in his class, he was very outspoken and some would even say annoying. Most people considered him the laughingstock of the academy due to his poor test scores and his erratic behavior. Although there was much more to him than meets the eye, Naruto was not the person that everybody saw on the outside. He was a lonely, angry, and envious person deep down. He hid his true feelings with an optimistic mask of hope and pride, but the boy knew that one day everybody would see his pain. He had an infamous nickname in the academy as the Dead Last. Most people considered him a weak loser due to his performance, but even that was a lie. Naruto was a lot more intelligent than people gave him credit for. He followed the valuable advice of a certain man named Jiraiya. The famous Sannin had taken an interest in the boy in recent years and secretly trained him to become stronger. Naruto thought back to the day he met Jiraiya. Flashback. Naruto was sitting on the heads of the Hokage statues overlooking the village with a sad look on his face. The boy was upset from his day at the academy and appeared on the verge of tears as he cursed to himself. Much to his surprise, a tall white-haired man approached him from behind and drew the boy from his tantrum. "Hey kid, what are you doing cussing up here all by yourself?" Naruto looked up at the man as he sat down next to him. He stubbornly remained quiet and shrugged as he continued glaring at the village below him. Jiraiya examined his attitude and sighed. "Listen kid, I don't know what you're going through, but sitting around and moping isn't going to solve your problems." He looked up at the white-haired man and finally spoke up. "Yeah, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? I am the laughingstock of the academy, and everybody thinks I am weak." Jiraiya had a deep thought etched across his face as he studied the boy. He sighed deeply. "Listen kid, if you want to be the best then you have to work hard. I didn't get to where I am today by wishing for change." Naruto nodded his head sadly at the man. "You are right, I guess. But I don't even know how to change." Jiraiya put a hand on Naruto's shoulder and smiled at him proudly. "Even the Hokages had to start at the bottom kid. How's about you and I make a deal, kid?" Naruto looked up at him curiously. "A deal? What kind of deal?" "I'll agree to train you so long as you agree to not tell anybody about it, or use any of the jutsus I teach you in the academy." Naruto looked at him incredulously. "Why can't I use them in the academy?" Jiraiya chuckled at the blonde and answered, "If they see you doing these jutsus in the academy, you'll be going to root or Umbu immediately. Trust me kid, it's not as fun as it sounds." "What do you get out of helping me?" Naruto asked skeptically. The Toad Sannin beamed proudly at the boy and answered, "I'm just trying to help you kid, plus I've got this feeling about you." There was a long silence before Naruto burst into a wide grin looking at the man. "All right, I'll do it." "Jiraiya is my name. I am one of 3 Sannin," the Toad Sage said proudly. Naruto looked at him awestruck. "That's awesome. Nobody is going to believe I met somebody like you." Whoa, don't get ahead of yourself. Your training with me is going to be strictly between you and me. We don't know each other, got it?" Naruto looked confused for a moment but finally nodded his head. "I understand, Jiraiya-sensei." End flashback. True to his word, Naruto remained silent about everything Jiraiya told him. He purposely didn't do things right most of the time to underplay his abilities and hide his powers. Naruto had become truly skilled training with Jiraiya in secret. The Sannin taught Naruto all sorts of interesting abilities over the past 4 years. Some of the most notable were shadow clones, and a variety of wind and water jutsus. Although the greatest thing Naruto learned from Jiraiya was something he only recently perfected, the Rasengan. This was Naruto's ultimate ace, and he had no intention of unveiling it until absolutely necessary. Overall, the past 4 years with Jiraiya had been very enlightening for the boy. The Toad Sage was almost like an uncle or a father to him, and had truly helped Naruto become better. There were complications training in secret, but the two found a way to keep Naruto's training in the dark. Nobody else ever found out except for the Hokage and his son Asuma. Naruto was very surprised when the Hokage's son volunteered to train him as well. Asuma was one of the few people in the village that were adept in wind chakra, so he was a naturally good choice for Naruto, who also had an affinity for it. The Jounin had taken quite a liking to the boy and was very helpful in teaching him. He taught Naruto how to enhance his weapons with wind chakra as well as all of the other things he could do with it. Asuma also taught the blonde a good amount of taijutsu. Naruto had been training with Asuma for over a year, and was quite skilled as the Jounin put it. He hoped that he would be put on Asuma's squad when he became a genin. "Naruto, what is the answer to the question on the board?" Iruka shouted at the boy, drawing him from his daydream. He stared blankly at the board, reading the question to himself. What is the name of the first Hokage? Hashirama Senju da. Naruto shrugged at the Chunin and laughed. I don't know. A chorus of laughter followed his question as half the class gave him condescending looks. Naruto hated to admit it, but he rather enjoyed the attention even if it was negative. He didn't like making himself look stupid, but once he graduated from academy and became a genin, then he would be free to stop downplaying his intelligence and skills. God, Naruto, you're such an idiot! A certain pink-haired girl yelled. The girl's name was Sakura Haruno, and Naruto would be lying if he said he didn't have a crush on her. She was smarter than everybody in the class, well, almost everybody. There was one girl in the class that made everybody in there look bad. Her name was Sasuke Uchiha. The girl was a childhood prodigy, part of the famous Uchiha clan, and she was the top student in the class. Naruto didn't know why, but he had deep resentment towards the girl due to how easily everything came for her. Sasuke was usually very quiet, but when she did talk, Naruto hated it. She was the most conceited and condescending person on the planet, in his opinion. Naruto didn't realize he was staring at the girl and caused Sasuke to look at him confused. Is there something you need, Dobe? Everybody laughed again at Sasuke's comment, and Naruto huffed in annoyance. No. Turn around, Uchiha. Sasuke smirked at the boy as she stared at him. Maybe you should go back to learn the basics with the first-year students. Screw you, stop acting like you are better than everybody, Naruto responded. Sasuke turned away and began to ignore him. The two were notoriously known for their intense hatred for each other. It seemed the only time Sasuke ever talked was to insult Naruto. Naruto didn't know what the girl had against him. Sure, he was annoying and dead last, but the girl always seemed intent on pissing him off. He would occasionally catch the Uchiha staring at him when he wasn't looking and could never guess why. Sasuke ignored everybody except for him. That's saying something too, because she was quite the eye-catcher. Although he hated to admit it, Naruto thought the Uchiha girl was cute. Sasuke was quite a sight to see. She had on a blue shirt with white sleeves that came halfway down her stomach, revealing a toned milky smooth core. She wore a short white skirt with a traditional ninja pouch strapped to her waist. Sasuke also had white armlets and leggings as well as the traditional ninja sandals. Naruto found himself staring at her again. The Uchiha took notice of this and looked over, causing his attention to snap back to Iruka. Alright class, I have good news for you. Your graduation is a week away. There will be a final exam that you must be able to pass, Iruka exclaimed to the class of students in front of him. They all looked excited and some were slightly worried looking about the mention. A loud chorus of comments followed the statement. Iruka studied their reactions and continued, I know some of you may be nervous, so I'll explain what you need to know for this exam. It will be a 3-part exam. First, you will need to pass the written test. Second, you must be able to perform a transformation jutsu. And finally, you will be required to create a clone. Ha! Is that it? Kiba laughed while exchanging looks with the class. The Chunin nodded his head at Kiba and responded, Yes, I am sure most of you will not have a problem with it, but we're going to spend this week reviewing for the written exam. Everybody grumbled and groaned in annoyance at the mention of that. Well, everybody except for Sasuke. The rest of the class period was relatively boring and Naruto normally found himself dozing off, daydreaming about training or going on a date with Sakura. Finally, the bell rang and the class was beginning to take its leave. As Naruto exited the room, he ran up behind a certain pink-haired girl and asked, Hey Sakura-chan, what's up? The girl looked at him annoyed and shook her head. What do you want, Naruto? The blonde flashed a foxy grin at her and answered, Well, I was wondering if you wanted to go on a date with me sometime? In your dreams, pal, I don't date losers. Sakura yelled at him as she slapped him in the face. She began walking away, leaving Naruto standing alone in the hallway. He shook his head and sighed to himself, rejected again, one of these days she'll say yes. You're wasting your time trying to date her, a familiar cynical voice sounded. Naruto turned around and saw the infamous Sasuke looking at him with crossed arms. There was a long silence as the two intently stared at each other. Mind your own business, Uchiha, Naruto stated, irritated as Sasuke smirked at him. She raised a brow at him and laughed. I can't believe you made it this far in the academy. Do you honestly think you are going to pass the exam and become a genin? Naruto nodded his head at the girl. I'm going to become the strongest ninja this village has ever seen. How can one become strong without a purpose? What is your purpose, Dobe? The Uchiha asked, amused. Naruto glared at the girl darkly and answered, My purpose is to earn everybody's respect and to become Hokage. Sasuke shook her head at the boy. That's why you're weak, you lack true purpose. Do yourself a favor and just give up now before you make a bigger fool out of yourself. Naruto turned around and began to walk away. I am done talking to you. As the Jinchuriki walked away, Sasuke inwardly cursed herself. Damn it, why do I always insult him? I ruined another chance to talk to him. Sasuke would never admit it aloud, but she had a strange interest in the blonde. She hated herself for falling prey to the norms that most of the pathetic schoolgirls in the academy lived by. Sasuke had no interest in boys, her only interest was to become strong. However, for some reason she found herself strangely captivated by the blonde loser in her class. She saw a different part of him that nobody else did. Sasuke could see that there was a lot more to him than everyone thought. Naruto wandered off deep into the woods where he normally did his training in secret. Jiraiya had recently left the village and wished the boy the best of luck, leaving him to train by himself. Normally at a time like this, Naruto would go find Asuma, but the Jounin was increasingly busy due to the fact that he would soon be assigned a genin team. Naruto created several dozen shadow clones and stood across from them as he drew two kunai. Wind chakra began to form around the two blades as he stared down his clones. They all began to charge the blonde with raised weapons. The boy dispatched his clones in waves as he cleaved through them with his kunai. Unbeknownst to him, a certain Hyuga girl had taken an interest in watching him train. Hinata had an obvious crush on Naruto and would often spend her recreational time watching him. She was careful to avoid doing so when Asuma or Jiraiya were present. She watched awestruck as the glowing chakra around Naruto's kunai extended out of the blades, creating two large chakra swords. As Naruto swung the weapons, the chakra flew off of his kunai and sliced through all of the remaining clones as well as many nearby trees. A voice sounded from behind the girl, catching her completely off guard. Quite a sight to see, eh? Hinata turned around horrified to see Asuma standing on a branch next to her. She blushed with embarrassment as she looked down in shame. The Jounin quietly chuckled as he put a hand on her shoulder. It's okay, Hyuga, why don't you go home and I'll pretend I don't know you are stalking Naruto. The wide-eyed girl turned crimson with embarrassment and immediately left. Naruto turned his head towards the sound of the commotion to see Asuma landing in front of him. The Jounin smiled proudly at the kid as he approached him. Asuma-sensei? I thought you were busy with the genin teams and all that paperwork. Naruto said, confused. The Jounin shrugged at his confusion. I blew it off anyways, I just wanted to give you something. The blonde looked at him confused as he reached into his pack. I was going to wait until you became a genin, but I figured what the hell, you should have them now. Asuma handed two trench knives to Naruto. The blonde looked stunned by the gesture as he picked up the blades. They resembled brass knuckles with a long jagged blade. Asuma smiled at his reaction as he ruffled the blonde's hair. I got you your own pair of trench knives. Thanks so much, Asuma-sensei. Naruto shouted happily as he hugged the Jounin. The man patted him on the shoulder as he turned to take his leave. I have to get back now anyways. Good luck with becoming a genin, I'll always be around if you need me, Naruto. Asuma left without another word, leaving the blonde to happily try out his new toys as he continued to train. Naruto had successfully passed his exams with flying colors. He walked into the classroom with his leaf headband fastened tightly around his forehead. The blonde had a proud smile as he sat down next to Sakura. The girl looked at him skeptically as she noticed his headband. Naruto, you passed? How? Everybody took immediate notice of him and began to stare at the blonde incredulously. Iruka answered Sakura's question. Naruto had a perfect score on the final exams. Everybody, including Sasuke, went wide-eyed at the comment. Kiba spoke up in disbelief. There is no way that the dobe had a perfect score. Iruka crossed his arms and sighed at the dog boy. Believe me, he did. Now please sit down, Kiba. Sasuke was staring at Naruto as Iruka continued speaking. Okay, now that we have all of the passing genin in here, you will all be assigned to 3-man teams with a Jounin instructor. Everybody looked at Iruka excited, hoping they would be put on the team with their friends. Only one thought was running through Naruto's mind, anybody but Sasuke. Sasuke's mind was on an opposite course, however. Iruka began to announce random students to their teams as he went through the list. Everybody eagerly awaited their names to be called. Okay, for Team 7 we have Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha, and Naruto Uzumaki. Sasuke and Naruto immediately locked into a death glare as they heard their names. Your Jounin instructor will be Kakashi Hatake. Iruka continued on with the list. Naruto and Sasuke both remained silent as they looked at each other. Seated in between them, Sakura was looking back and forth at the two of them, confused. Finally, Sakura spoke up. Will you two stop staring at each other? Both huffed in annoyance as they focused back on Iruka. Naruto was rather disappointed that he wasn't on a squad with Asuma, but he was hoping his new instructor would be just as helpful. Iruka finally finished announcing the teams. Well, that's all of the teams. Wait here for your Jounin teachers to come pick you up and have a nice day. The Chunin then walked out, leaving the students alone in the room. Everybody immediately surrounded Naruto and began to question him. Seriously, how the hell did a moron like you get a perfect score on the test? Kiba shouted in disbelief. Maybe that's because I am not a moron, Naruto replied, slightly amused. Shikamaru shook his head and sighed. There's no way you scored perfectly on the written exam, and I don't ever recall seeing you make a successful clone before. Naruto looked at him and sighed as he formed a cross sign with his hands, Kege Bunshin no Jutsu. The blonde created several shadow clones, much to everybody's surprise. I don't remember Irika-sensei teaching that jutsu, Sakura shouted at the blonde. He didn't. Naruto obviously learned it elsewhere, Shikamaru noted. Sasuke silently stared at the blonde as he dispelled his shadow clones and kicked back in his seat. Everybody then dispersed into their particular new teams. Sakura shook her head at the sight of Naruto and Sasuke ignoring each other. She coughed loudly as she looked between them. Well, are you two going to talk at all? Sasuke sent a cold glare towards the pink-haired genin. I'm not here to entertain you. Sakura turned her attention towards Naruto and started to question him. Well, Naruto, would you mind telling me where you learned how to do shadow clones? He looked over at Sakura, who had a curious expression on her face. Naruto shrugged at her carelessly. I don't remember. Maybe I'll tell you if you go on that date with me. Not in your life, Sakura shouted at him. Much to her surprise, however, Sasuke cut in. What are the odds of me being paired with the Dobe and Barbie ninja? Both shinobi turned their gaze towards Sasuke, offended. Sakura was about to mouth off, but Naruto beat her to it. Believe me, the feeling is mutual, Uchiha. The three genin began to ignore each other afterwards. Hinata looked down from her seat at Naruto as she recalled the events of him training last week. Unlike the rest of the genin, Hinata knew that Naruto was a lot stronger than people gave him credit for. Hinata dreamily stared at the blonde as he occasionally glanced over at Sasuke and Sakura. What surprised her, though, is when Sasuke looked up at her. The Uchiha sent a nasty glare towards the Hyuga, much to her surprise. Sasuke had never liked Hinata and she did not know why. Drawn from her thoughts, Hinata heard a woman announce for Team 8 to come with her. Hinata left with Kiba and Shino out the door, but not before looking back at a glaring Sasuke. Jounin were periodically arriving in the classroom to take their teams away until all that remained was Team 7. There was dead silence between the trio. They had been waiting over 2 hours for their instructor to show up. Finally, Sakura couldn't take the silence anymore and started talking. So are you guys excited about becoming official ninjas? Sasuke glanced up at her but didn't bother responding. Naruto, on the other hand, nodded his head. I am excited that we can finally get out of the classrooms and test our skills on real missions. Obviously, Sakura hated boredom more than Naruto because she continued talking to him. My parents are so proud of me. They threw me a party for graduating last night. What about you two? Are your parents proud too? Naruto and Sasuke instantly looked distant at the mention of parents, and didn't respond. Sakura studied their reactions and came to the conclusion at last. Sorry. Don't be sorry, Sakura-chan, you didn't know, Naruto said forgivingly. Sasuke, on the other hand, continued to brood in silence, as she glared daggers in the back of Sakura's head. Sakura smiled at Naruto's attitude and giggled. It's strange, I always thought you were just a hyperactive knucklehead, but you're kind of cool today, Naruto. Sasuke inwardly hurled at the giggle the pink girl made as she watched the scene intently. The raven-haired girl was tired of Sakura talking and thanked whatever divine force was watching her that their instructor finally walked into the room. Yo, is this my team? Kakashi asked casually as he examined the three genin before him. You must be Kakashi-sensei, Sakura said, excited. The jounin nodded his head as he looked at the girl. Alright, you three meet me on the rooftop so we can all introduce ourselves. The three genin did as they were told and made their way to the rooftop of the academy. When they got there, they saw Kakashi sitting over a balcony. He waved them over and motioned for them to sit down in front of him. Okay, I want you three to introduce yourselves and give me your likes, dislikes, and dreams, the masked jounin said calmly. I'll start first. Hi, my name is Kakashi Hatake, and that's all you need to know, the jounin said. He looked at Naruto first, and the boy began to speak. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes include training, eating ramen, and fighting. My dislikes are people who underestimate me, and my dream is to become the greatest Hokage of all time. Kakashi nodded his head and looked at Sakura. She coughed to clear her throat and began to speak. My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes include cute boys, cute outfits, and romantic novels. My dislikes are waiting around for a long time and mean people. My dream is to become a great medic nin and to marry my Prince Charming. Kakashi eyed her briefly. This girl reminds me of Rin. As he focused his gaze on the final student, Sasuke began to speak. My name is Sasuke Uchiha, and I don't have any likes or dislikes. My dream is to kill a certain somebody. Sakura looked over at the girl confused as Sasuke glared at the ground. Kakashi nodded his head and responded, Alright, well, now that we all know each other, you kids are free to go home. Meet me at Training Ground 7 tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Don't eat breakfast, or you'll throw up. Without another word, Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke. The three genin began to take their leave. Naruto looked over at Sakura and asked her the question of the day, Hey Sakura-chan, do you want to go get some ramen and get to know each other? I mean, since we're teammates and all. For the last time and oh. Seriously, Naruto, I am not interested in you, Sakura stated loudly. Naruto nodded his head at the expected rejection and jumped off the roof taking his leave. Sakura looked over at Sasuke and shook her head in annoyance. He's such a loser, I mean, can you believe that guy? Sasuke was gone before Sakura even realized she was talking to nobody. Sakura shook her head and sighed. One is an idiot who won't leave me alone, and the other one is a bitch who doesn't want anything to do with me. The following day, Naruto was the first person to make it to the training ground. He wasn't much of a sleeper and typically woke up early to train anyways. The blonde casually sat against a tree after getting there. A bit later, Sasuke was the second person to arrive. She was quite surprised to see Naruto already there. She thanked the heavens that she would finally get more alone time with Blonde. Sasuke walked up and sat directly next to Naruto, much to his utter disbelief. Naruto remained silent as the two sat there calmly. Finally, Naruto spoke up, why are you sitting here? Sasuke looked at him amused, why not? I can sit wherever I want, I could even sit on you if I wanted. The Uchiha inwardly cursed herself for the way she answered him. Naruto raised a brow at the Uchiha, confused, what the hell? What is your problem with me? Sasuke was quiet for a minute but finally answered, I don't have a problem with you. Could have fooled me, care to explain why you're always a bitch to me and only me? Naruto asked. The Uchiha nervously avoided Naruto's cerulean gaze as she looked down. Well, I just don't. Spit it out, Uchiha, you didn't seem to have a problem making fun of me before, Naruto stated angrily. Sasuke sighed as her walls immediately came back up. Listen, Dobe, I don't have to explain myself to you or anybody. Naruto glared at the girl and laughed. Somebody is going to have to teach you a lesson, Uchiha, I guess that person should be me. I'd like to see you try. Sasuke laughed at him. The duo immediately leapt to their feet and got into fighting stances as they stared each other down. Sasuke went through several hand seals and shouted, Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Sasuke spit a large ball of fire from her mouth towards Naruto. The blonde went through several hand seals of his own to counter it. Suetun Sujin Hiki. Water release, water encampment wall. A large barrier of water shot from Naruto's mouth to block the fireball. The two elements struggled back and forth for a while before the water finally enveloped Sasuke's attack. The Uchiha looked impressed by his jutsu and spoke up, I didn't know a Dobe like you knew any other jutsus. Not so high and mighty now, huh, Uchiha? The girl smirked at him and pulled out several kunai. They had explosive tags on them. Sasuke threw the kunai in unison towards the blonde but was shocked as he countered it again, Futon, de Tapa. Wind release, great breakthrough. A massive gust of wind blasted from Naruto, blowing the kunai away in all directions, causing random explosions towards the nearby trees. Sasuke felt herself being pushed back by the gust. As the wind subsided, the Uchiha charged towards Naruto with a kunai drawn. Naruto pulled out his trench knives and parried Sasuke's attack easily. The raven-haired girl flipped over him and began to relentlessly assail the blonde. Naruto managed to keep up with Sasuke's fast pace as the two battled. A loud shriek instantly caused both of them to stop fighting as they turned to see a worried Sakura staring at them. What the hell are you two doing? Sakura asked, confused. The two traded annoyed glances at each other and put their weapons away. Sasuke walked over towards a tree and began to lean against it as Naruto approached Sakura. We were just sparring, Sakura-chan, trying to pass the time until Kakashi-sensei arrives. The pink-haired girl looked at the devastated part of the training ground the group was in and looked skeptical. How did you two do all of this? Mind your own business, Barbie, Sasuke said coldly as she glared at Sakura. The pink-haired girl ignored Sasuke and sighed as the trio began to wait around in silence. 2 hours went by as they waited for their sensei to show up. During this time, Naruto and Sasuke kept trying to steal glances at each other. Naruto would occasionally catch the Uchiha staring but pretended not to notice. Sasuke was surprised by the prowess the supposed dead last showed during their fight. I knew there was more to him, he must be concealing his powers, but why? I had no idea he was that strong. Sasuke was extremely distressed by the situation she had caused earlier. This always happens. I try to talk to him, and then suddenly I go off and say something stupid making him hate me more. Why is our sensei late? Sakura complained, trying to break the awkward silence. Sasuke and Naruto were locked into a staring contest, both completely oblivious to Sakura's question. She looked frustrated at her two teammates as they both continued staring at each other. Finally, Sasuke spoke up. Maybe you'll be useful after all, Uzumaki. Anything for you, Sasuke-chan, Naruto said sarcastically. Nevertheless, Sasuke was shocked at the last part out of Naruto's mouth and looked away, hiding her slight blush. Naruto didn't notice as Sakura stepped in front of him and started waving in his face. Hello. Will you stop ignoring me for heaven's sake? Naruto rubbed the back of his head and laughed. Oh yes, sorry, Sakura-chan. What were you asking? I was saying that our sensei is 2 hours late again, Sakura yelled. Naruto nodded his head at the girl and sighed. Yeah, all of this waiting around is really boring. As if answering their plea, Kakashi finally walked over the bridge and waved to the three genin. Hey guys, what's up? Why are you late? Sakura demanded, looking at the masked Jounin annoyed. Oh, well, you see, I was on my way here and this old lady I ran into asked me if I could help her rearrange her house, so being the good citizen I am, I decided to help her. Everybody's sweat dropped immediately, seeing through his lie. Whatever, let's just get started, Sasuke sighed. Kakashi nodded his head as he motioned for the three genin to follow him. They made their way into a clearing and finally Kakashi turned to face the group. Alright, you three. There is one final test you must perform if you wish to become a genin. You see these two bells here? You are going to have to get one if you want to become a full-fledged genin. Sakura looked confused. I thought we already passed the exam. Kakashi shook his head. The academy and the real thing don't compare. This final exam narrows down the genin hopefuls, so we don't send people who aren't ready on missions. Sakura nodded her head and responded, I get it, this is a practical field test to see how we work together. Kakashi nodded his head at the girl. Use teamwork and you'll pass, otherwise you're all going back to the academy. The three genin nodded at the Jounin. Now come at me with intent to kill, otherwise you stand no chance in capturing a bell, Kakashi said. The three genin instantly ran for cover like Kakashi expected they would. He looked around waiting for one of them to make the first move before pulling out his infamous Aika Paradise book. Naruto managed to locate Sakura and started whispering to the girl, You and me can do it, Sakura-chan, we just have to go at him together. I'll distract him and you cover his flank. Much to both of their surprise, Sasuke cut in, Listen up, Uzumaki, the two of us can take this guy if we work together. We just have to be relentless. Naruto looked at Sasuke and sighed, Fine, but this doesn't change anything between you and me. The Uchiha girl shrugged, Whatever, let's just go. What do you want me to do? Sakura asked the blonde. Naruto looked at her and smiled, Just keep your eyes open and rush him when you see an opening. I know you can do it, Sakura-chan. Sakura nodded her head and smiled at the boy's encouragement. Naruto and Sasuke instantly leapt from the trees and stood across from their Jounin instructor. Kakashi eyed them both lazily. A frontal attack isn't going to be very effective against me. Naruto laughed at the man and replied, We'll see about that, Futon, de Tapa. Wind release, great breakthrough, Sasuke added to Naruto's wind attack, Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The fire and wind combo caught Kakashi completely by surprise, causing him to drop his book and dodge it. Kakashi immediately saw kunai with explosive tags raining around his location. There was a large explosion, but the Jounin's body turned out to be a log. The real Kakashi appeared behind the two genin and delivered a roundhouse kick. Naruto managed to counterattack with a kick of his own while Sasuke stabbed the Jounin from behind. Once again, it turned out to be a substitution. The real Kakashi was standing on a tree branch a short distance away and waved to them. I wasn't aware that academy students knew how to do elemental jutsus. Genin don't normally have the chakra for it. They traded annoyed glances as they made another dash towards the man. Naruto dove into the Jounin at point-blank range, causing him to jump into the air. Sasuke took the opportunity to launch another fireball at him. The Jounin managed to evade the blast, but was surprised as a gust of wind instantly blew him off balance upon landing. The masked man stumbled briefly before regaining his composure, looking around for Naruto. He saw the blonde charging him point-blank again, dodged him as he slashed his knives. Are you kids trying to kill me? Kakashi asked, amused as Naruto and Sasuke continued to assail him. Kakashi barely had time to look around as the two continued to flail at him, repeatedly pushing him closer towards the edge of the forest. Seizing the opportunity, Sakura dove out of the foliage and nearly grabbed a bell but missed as Kakashi caught her hand. Pretty sneaky for a bunch of kids, Kakashi noted. Naruto charged the silver-haired man again and threw a bunch of shuriken at him, which immediately revealed Kakashi to be a wooden log. Naruto looked around for the Jounin and saw him next to Sasuke. The Uchiha delivered a powerful kick towards the masked ninja, which he managed to catch, but Kakashi was surprised to see Naruto's hand almost catching a bell. Kakashi threw both genin back and chuckled at their tenacity. You three are pretty good for a bunch of kids. Interesting combination of teamwork. The three genin jumped back as Kakashi blanketed the area in shuriken. Taking this opportunity, Kakashi appeared behind Naruto and shook his head as he held a kunai to his throat. You're clever kid, but not that clever. Suddenly, Kakashi felt a weight around his waist and saw another Naruto holding both bells. The Naruto in front of Kakashi turned into a puff of smoke, impressing the Jounin greatly. A shadow clone. Very interesting, normally I can see those. So do we pass? Sakura asked, excited. The masked man looked over at the three genin before him and answered, well, you're the first group who's ever actually taken the bells. That wasn't really the purpose of this test. The purpose was to test your teamwork, and from what I can see, you three worked well together. So you all pass. The three genin all celebrated in their own way. Naruto and Sakura cheered triumphantly while Sasuke smirked quietly. I've never seen genin with your potential before. The man focused his gaze on Naruto and Sasuke. You are going to go far. Anyways, you three are dismissed for the day. From here on out, meet me at Team 7's training ground first thing every morning. Without another word, Kakashi vanished, leaving the genin alone. Naruto looked over towards Sakura and asked his daily question. So Sakura-chan, how about we go and celebrate by getting some ramen? I'll buy. The girl looked at him and smiled. Normally I'd say no, but you really pulled through for us today, so I guess I kind of owe it to ya. Sasuke looked annoyed at the sight. What the hell? She didn't even do anything. What the fuck does he see in her anyways? Can I come? Sasuke asked, causing Naruto's eyes to shoot open in shock. What? I was under the impression you and I were sworn enemies, Naruto stated. We're teammates. I was just trying to be friendly, Sasuke stated. We're all teammates, so I say let her come, Naruto, Sakura said cheerfully. The blonde nodded in agreement. Alright Sasuke, you can come with us to Ichiraku's ramen. The three genin were seated at the ramen stand. Naruto was sitting in the middle with Sakura on one side and Sasuke on another. They were actually having a pleasant lunch, much to all of their surprise. Sakura looked over at Naruto and giggled. I can't believe I am eating lunch with you and it isn't weird. See, I told you that you were missing out, Naruto responded flirtatiously. The pink-haired girl laughed in response. Don't go off thinking this is a romantic date or anything, got it, Naruto? It's okay to admit that you're enjoying this, Sakura-chan, Naruto chuckled. The pink-haired girl glanced at the boy cheerfully as he continued to eat his ramen. Hey Naruto, I just wanted to thank you for encouraging me earlier. It meant a lot to me, Sakura said as she continued to gaze at the boy. Naruto flashed her a foxy grin and nodded his head. We're teammates, Sakura. I'll always be there for you. Sasuke was completely disgusted by the scene she had just witnessed. Stupid, useless bitch, ugh, why the hell does he like her so much? Sakura noticed the cold glare Sasuke was directing towards her and crossed her arms at the Uchiha. Why don't you like me, Sasuke? Drawn from her thoughts, the Uchiha responded coldly. I am done here. Sasuke got up to leave the ramen stand and started making her way down the street towards the Uchiha complex. She didn't get far before Naruto jumped in front of her with his arms crossed. The two genin stared each other down again. There was a long silence before Sasuke finally spoke up. Thanks for lunch, Naruto, I'll see you around. Naruto looked shocked as the girl pushed past him with a smile on her face. He shook his head in confusion. Did she just thank me and call me by my name? Naruto couldn't help but stare at the retreating form of the raven-haired beauty walking away. Running up to him, Sakura began to speak. Where did Sasuke go? The blonde shrugged at her question and sighed. Sasuke's just not feeling well. Anyways, I'll see you around, Sakura-chan. Wait! Sakura demanded, grabbing Naruto's arm. He turned around and looked at her. What is it, Sakura-chan? I just wanted to ask you if, well, what I am trying to ask is how come you are able to do all of these jutsus yet you are the dead last in the academy? Naruto smiled at the pink ninja. That's a secret, Sakura-chan. I might have to get to know you better before I go off and tell you about that. Sakura smirked at the boy's bribe. Maybe I'll consider it. Anyways, take care, Sakura-chan. Naruto left without another word. As Naruto was walking home, his mind kept wandering in weird places. He was thinking about Sasuke of all people. He didn't know why he had finally gone on a date with Sakura, and Sasuke was the only thing on his mind at the moment. She said my name? She looks so cute standing there in front of me and oh, what the hell am I thinking? This is Sasuke, the evil bitch I'm thinking about here. Naruto went over the scene in his head hundreds of times on his way home. He just didn't understand why the girl thanked him. Maybe she was impressed by our fight earlier. I guess it isn't surprising considering people like her only care about strength and power. Naruto fought hard to push the thought to the back of his mind. He finally concluded that Sasuke only said his name out of respect for their fight. I just don't get him. I am the strongest girl in the entire village, and he goes for the weak schoolgirl bitch. What makes her so much better than me? I can't believe this shit. I didn't say one thing to him the entire time at the ramen stand. I missed my chance. Sasuke was deeply brooding on her walk home. She was very depressed about the scene that had occurred earlier. She couldn't stand the sight of Naruto flirting with Sakura any longer, and had to leave. Well, at least I thanked him. Maybe I'll have another chance to talk to him one-on-one tomorrow. I just need to get there first so I get some alone time with him away from stupid Sakura bitch. Sasuke then had a brilliant idea flash through her mind. I know what I can do. I just have to make Sakura look bad in front of Naruto. Tons of ideas flowed through the girl's mind as she wandered home scheming. The next day, Naruto was the first person at the training ground and was casually sitting against the same tree from yesterday. He looked slightly tired due to a lack of sleep. Coming across the bridge, the infamous Uchiha girl sat down next to him the exact same way she had done previously. Naruto looked over at her and made an effort to be nice. Hey Sasuke. Naruto Sasuke managed to say but quieted down as she looked towards the ground. The blonde looked at her and spoke up again. Sorry about yesterday, I was being an ass. Don't be sorry, Sasuke said embarrassedly as she avoided eye contact. There was a long awkward silence between the two again. He's sitting right there, nobody else is around. Say something. Sasuke yelled at herself inwardly. So Naruto, am I like those two jutsus you did yesterday? They were quite impressive, Sasuke said somewhat sheepishly. Naruto looked confused at the girl's sudden change in attitude and replied, Thanks Sasuke, your fire was pretty badass too. Is that something your clan taught you? The Uchiha nodded her head. Yeah, I learned it from my brother Itachi. I didn't know you had a brother, Naruto said interested. Sasuke scooted closer towards the boy and looked at him. There's a lot you don't know about me. Like you, I am not all I appear to be. Naruto looked at the girl oddly. What are you implying? I'm just saying I see past your innocent idiot act. I know you are one of the strongest genin in our year. I know that you have received some form of special training. Plus, I know for a fact that you are a lot smarter than you pretend to be. Naruto looked shocked by the girl's words and shook his head. Well, aren't you the curious one? I guess it's true. How long have you known? 3 years. I pay close attention to you, Sasuke said as she looked away in embarrassment. Naruto looked confused. Why? What reason would you possibly have for keeping track of what I do? I am just curious about you, Sasuke managed to answer. Before Naruto could respond, Sakura arrived and saw the two of them sitting directly next to each other against the tree. She looked shocked at the sight and coughed as she walked up. You two seem to be getting along. How long have you been here? Not long enough. Go away, you banshee, Sasuke inwardly answered. Naruto on the other hand stood up and smiled. Hey Sakura-chan, I've been here for about half an hour or so. What were you two talking about when I walked up? Sakura asked, eyeing the two suspiciously. Both genin refused to answer the girl and looked away quietly. I swear you two are a complete mystery. There are way too many secrets between the three of us, Sakura concluded. Our secrets are none of your business, Sasuke said coldly. Naruto sighed at the Uchiha's former attitude coming back. A short distance away, Kakashi was watching the three genin interact. Sasuke seems to have something against Sakura. She was getting along fine with Naruto until Sakura arrived. The Jounin continued to watch the genin from a distance. Naruto, come on, tell me please, Sakura said in the most girly way possible. The blonde looked away and sighed. Listen Sakura, it's not that I don't want to tell you, it's that I can't. Why not? We're teammates, right? Sakura complained as she took a step closer towards the blonde. Sasuke immediately stepped in front of Sakura, blocking her view of Naruto, and began to stare. I've got a deal for you, Haruno. You beat me in a fight, and I'll tell you what we were talking about. Sakura nervously backed away as Sasuke got into a fighting stance. From a distance, Kakashi watched the scene unfold with interest. I see now the Uchiha girl has a crush on Minato's son. Interesting. Sasuke immediately charged the pink-haired girl and was about to punch her in the face before Naruto grabbed her hand, stopping it. Sasuke looked shocked to see Naruto catch her fist. You're fast. Sakura backed away in shock and shook her head. You were really going to hit me? Sasuke pulled her arm back and scoffed. Get used to it, Barbie. In the real world, You won't get to choose your battles. Be thankful Naruto was here to protect you. Kakashi decided this way a good time to intervene and appeared on the bridge walking over towards the three genin. They all looked up at him curiously as he began to speak. Good news guys, we've got missions to do today. I already took the liberty of signing you three up for a bunch of D-rank missions. The trio eyed him curiously as he continued, believe me, these are some of the most important missions necessary to refine ninja skills and uphold a strong presence among the village. Naruto inwardly sighed at Kakashi's statement. Yes, slave labor is very essential in making me a better ninja. What are we waiting for? Let's get started, Sakura exclaimed cheerfully. The following weeks were spent endlessly doing D missions. During this time, Team 7 hadn't made much progress at getting any closer. Naruto would occasionally ask Sakura out on dates, but she refused, hoping he would spill his secrets to her. Sasuke, on the other hand, had been very quiet after her ordeal with Sakura. The pink-haired girl did not like the Uchiha at all and spent most of her time talking with Naruto. Much to Sasuke's disappointment, that only made the two of them closer. The raven-haired girl spent a lot of her spare time training harder. Despite Sasuke's original purpose for killing Itachi, she also wanted to impress Naruto. Sasuke didn't get much of a chance to talk to Naruto over the past few weeks because the blonde was too distracted by Sakura. It was another early morning that Sasuke headed for the training ground. She continued to arrive early despite the fact that Kakashi was always late. Mostly, Sasuke just wanted any excuse to spend more time with Naruto. As usual, the blonde was sitting against a tree sharpening his knives. Sasuke walked over and sat next to him like she always did. Naruto didn't bother looking up as he continued to sharpen his blades. This sucks, why the hell do I like him so much? Finally, Naruto looked up at Sasuke and smiled. Hey Sasuke, what's up? Hey Naruto, Sasuke said as she looked into his oceanic blue eyes. The two were staring at each other awkwardly. After a minute, Sasuke looked away, embarrassed, trying to hide a slight blush. Hey Sasuke, can you help me with something? The blonde asked. The raven-haired girl looked over at him with a dirty thought crossing her mind. Sasuke nodded her head. What do you need help with? Well, it's about Sakura. You see, Valentine's Day is coming up and I want to try and impress her. You're a girl, what kind of stuff would impress you? Naruto asked sheepishly. Sasuke's face turned to a scowl at the mention of Sakura as she looked away jealously. I'm not a girly girl, Naruto. The stuff that would impress me are completely different than the stuff that would impress Sakura. Well, what would a boy have to do to impress you? Naruto asked carefully. Sasuke looked at him and smiled as the conversation switched back to her, while the raven-haired girl blushed deeply as she looked away shamefully. Before Naruto could say anything else, Sakura instantly caught his eye as she ran across the bridge waving, "Morning, Naruto." "Morning, Sakura-chan," Naruto said cheerfully as he jumped up to greet the pink-haired girl. Sasuke sighed at the sight and looked away in disgust. Watching them fawn over each other makes me sick. If they end up together on Valentine's Day, I'll kill her. The rest of the morning was spent listening to Sakura talk about her social life. So then Ino said that this boy was super cute but that he wasn't a ninja, so that's why she said we should only date other ninjas, Sakura rambled. Well, my door's always open, Sakura-chan, Naruto suggested with a foxy grin. Sakura giggled and shook her head. We're just friends, Naruto, besides I don't like you like that. Good answer, bitch, it better stay that way or you'll go missing, Inner Sasuke yelled at the girl. Kakashi showed up earlier than usual, much to the group's surprise. Good news, you three, I got permission for us to go on AC rank mission. It took a lot of convincing, but I managed to talk the Hokage into allowing it since you three have been doing well lately, Kakashi said casually. Awesome! Naruto cheered. Sakura looked optimistic. AC rank mission? What are we going to be doing? Kakashi answered her. Follow me to the Hokage's office. We have an escort mission to protect a man named Tazuna on his return trip to Wave Country. Team 7 was walking through the gates of the village of Konoha along with the old man known as Tazuna. He felt slightly offended that his guard consisted mostly of kids, but Kakashi assured the man that he would be safe. The group made decent progress on their way towards Wave Country, occasionally going over interesting topics. As they passed over a puddle of water, Naruto instantly looked up in the sky and noticed it was clear. It hasn't rained lately. The blonde looked at Kakashi. Hey Kakashi-sensei, that puddle isn't natural. The masked Jounin nodded his head as he looked down at it. You're right, it hasn't rained lately. Suddenly, a masked ninja leapt from the water and wrapped a chain towards Kakashi. Another one instantly leapt from the threes and followed suit, ripping the Jounin in half. Although Kakashi just turned into a puff of smoke. The enemy ninja tried to stab Naruto with his spiked gauntlet, but was unsuccessful as Sasuke blindsided him with a swift kick. Tazuna back away in fear with Sakura as the two enemies attacked Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto drew his trench knives and channeled wind chakra over the edges as the masked enemies whipped their chains around Naruto. The blonde instantly sliced the chains into pieces, shocking the two enemy ninjas. Seizing the moment, Sasuke went through several hand seals and launched a massive fireball, scorching the two enemies. They managed to avoid the blunt force of the attack, but were set on fire from it. They both dashed Sasuke from either side with their gauntlets raised. Before they could hit her, however, Naruto stabbed both of them from behind with his chakra-infused trench knives, causing both of the enemies to fall over dead. Sasuke looked at Naruto impressed as a smile came across her lips. Tazuna and Sakura, on the other hand, were terrified by the battle. Kakashi leapt from the trees and spoke up in a serious tone. "Those two are Chunin level missing. Need care to explain why they were after you, Tazuna?" The old man looked down nervously and sighed. "They were sent by Gato. He doesn't want me to finish building the bridge. I had no idea he had shinobi at his disposal. This mission is now at least an A rank. We're going to have to take you back to Konoha and fix this," Kakashi said dryly. "No, you can't do that. You guys took care of them just fine. I can't afford this contract if it is an A rank," Tazuna shouted. Naruto looked over towards his sensei and cut in. "We can handle this, Kakashi-sensei. We took care of those guys just fine. And with you here, I'm sure we'll be okay." Kakashi thought for a moment as he examined his team. After a long silence, he finally nodded his head. "You guys aren't regular genin, and with me I guess it is doable. Fine, we'll continue then." Sakura looked worried as the group continued down the road. The pink-haired girl shook her head at the look on Naruto's face. "Naruto, you killed those guys back there," Sakura said, concerned. Naruto looked at her and nodded. "Yes, I did." "You don't care?" the girl asked, worried. The group all stopped in its tracks and turned to face Sakura.s. Before Naruto could say anything, Sasuke decided to cut in. "Remember when I said we couldn't pick our fights? That was a perfect example. As ninja will be expected to kill from time to time. Naruto did the right thing." Kakashi nodded in agreement. "Sasuke is right, Sakura. Sometimes we have to kill people. It's not a lesson I encourage for kids as young as you three, but there's no changing that now." Naruto sighed deeply and spoke up. "I was just trying to protect you guys, not to mention, the world is a better place with two less scumbags like them anyways." Naruto Sakura began as the group continued walking. The pink-haired girl couldn't find the words and just decided to close her mouth as she followed the group again. Team 7 and Tazuna had been traveling for the past 3 days. They were finally coming upon the coastal borders of the Land of Fire. The trip had been fairly uneventful and almost nothing interesting had occurred. Naruto and Sasuke barely spoke at all and appeared distant most of the trip, while Sakura, on the other hand, would talk to Kakashi about some boring topic or another. Currently, the group was approaching a harbor and saw a man in the distance. He was a rower waiting by a boat to take random travelers across. As they got closer, Tazuna addressed the man. "Can you take us across?" The man recognized Tazuna and nodded his head. "It's good to see you again, Tazuna-san. Things have been rather gloomy since you left." "Why, what has happened?" the old man asked. The boat rower sighed deeply and answered, "Well, it seems Gato hired a notorious missing nin to halt the production of the bridge." Kakashi cut into the conversation and asked, "Notorious missing nin? Do you know who it is?" The rower shook his head and looked down terrified. "No, I haven't seen him personally, but some of the others said that he is a muscular guy with a giant sword." The copy nin looked worried at the mention of giant sword. Kakashi shook his head and sighed. "If this man uses a giant sword, then he would have to be one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist." Everybody present tensed up with shocked expressions on their faces. Tazuna looked horrified and began to tremble. "Depending on which of the swordsmen this missing nin is, this mission is definitely an A rank or higher," Kakashi said casually. "We can't handle this mission, Kakashi-sensei. Somebody could get hurt," Sakura exclaimed fearfully. Kakashi sighed deeply as he examined his team. "Well, under normal circumstances I would immediately report back for reinforcements, but seeing as how we're a team, I'll let you 3 decide what we do. This is invaluable field training that will make you 3 better shinobi." "We have to turn back, Kakashi-sensei. A rank missions are for jounins or umbu," Sakura shouted. Her behavior was contagious because Tazuna and the rower began to look concerned as well. "We can handle this, Kakashi-sensei. It's only one guy," Naruto commented. Sasuke nodded in agreement. "I say we keep going. Quitting is for losers and cowards." The raven-haired girl focused her gaze on Sakura after saying that. The pink-haired girl balled her fist angrily at Sasuke and then looked back towards Kakashi. "I'm not going to quit and drag the team down. I won't be the reason for a failed mission." Kakashi looked over his 3 pupils and sighed. "Well, we are a team. Since the 3 of you have willingly agreed to do this, We will finish the mission or die trying. Are you kidding me? You and these kids are going to protect us against the swordsmen of the mist? Tazuna shouted in disbelief. My students have already saved your life from 2 Chunits. If you would prefer, we could always just go back to Konoha and let you deal with him alone, Kakashi said casually. No! Don't go, you and these kids are just fine, Tazuna said desperately. Kakashi nodded his head and replied, Good, now let's take this boat to Wave Country. The group finally arrived at the island. As they got out of the boat, they noticed the area was shrouded in mist. Kakashi looked around on full alert as the group left the small harbor. Team 7 made its way down the road cautiously. Why is it so misty? Tazuna asked, clueless. This mist is giving me the creeps. Is it just me, or does anybody else feel like we're being followed? Sakura asked nervously. Sakura, get down! Naruto shouted as he tackled the pink-haired girl to the ground. A massive sword narrowly flew over her and embedded itself into a tree. Kakashi looked at the sword and over towards his team. We've got company. Tazuna appeared to be having a heart attack as a man landed on the handle of the massive blade. Everybody examined the figure closely to see a tall, muscular man wearing no shirt. He had spiky black hair and bandages wrapped around his mouth. They sent kids to stop me? Zabuza asked, amused. He looked over the 4 ninja before him and shook his head. What the hell is this? 2 girls, a blonde kid, and 1 jounin? Who are you? Kakashi asked in a serious tone, eyeing the swordsman carefully. Zabuza chuckled at the masked man and answered, They call me the Demon of the Mist. You're Zabuza, I've heard of you, Kakashi stated calmly. Tazuna's eyes nearly flew out of their sockets upon hearing the name. Oh no! We're all going to die! Tazuna shouted, terrified. Zabuza drew his sword from the tree and looked over towards Tazuna. You must be the bridge builder I was hired to kill. Ha ha ha, you should be afraid of me. Without wasting any time, the swordsman immediately charged towards Tazuna and cleaved his butcher blade. Before it made contact, Kakashi blocked the sword with a kunai. The copy nin was pushed a few feet back from the force of the parry. Zabuza shook his head and laughed at Kakashi. You must be the leader of this little ragtag bunch of kids. I'm pretty hurt that Konoha would send a little trio of kids with some chump like you to stop me. You're mistaken if you think that you're going to kill Tazuna. We are going to stop you! Naruto shouted at the swordsman. Zabuza pulled his blade back and looked over towards the blonde. You're out of your mind, kid. How the hell did you become a ninja? Zabuza asked, amused. Same way you did, I suppose, Naruto shot back. I can't believe how easy it is to become a genin in Konoha. We have to kill another student for our final test, Zabuza said coldly. Your 2 lackeys are lying in a pool of blood. Courtesy of me, you're next on the list. Naruto shouted at the swordsman darkly. Everybody in Team 7 was taken aback by Naruto's dark attitude. You expect me to believe a pathetic Konoha genin killed the demon brothers? Zabuza asked, amused. How's about I prove it to you? Naruto said eerily as he drew his trench knives and channeled wind chakra over them. Zabuza watched the sight interested. Wind chakra? That's a jounin technique. Sakura looked worried as Naruto and ran towards Zabuza. Naruto, wait, don't go near him, Kakashi ordered sternly. The blonde genin disobeyed the jounin, slashing towards Zabuza full force. The swordsman flipped back, narrowly dodging Naruto's attack, and laughed. Pretty tenacious for a Konoha genin. You might have made a good Kirin nin, ha ha ha. Zabuza shook his head, amused, as he leapt into the air, smashed his sword down towards the blonde. Naruto dodged the attack and delivered a kick to the side of Zabuza's head as he landed. The swordsman immediately swung the butcher blade in an arc towards Naruto, but much to his surprise, the blonde parried the attack with his knives. The two were deadlocked momentarily as Zabuza chuckled, pretty strong for a kid but not strong enough. The swordsman began to overpower Naruto as he pushed his blade further down on the genin. Naruto began to shake under the weight of Zabuza's blade until several shuriken flew towards the swordsman, forcing him to move. Kakashi ran over with a kunai drawn and began to draw Zabuza away from Naruto. Unfortunately for him, though, Zabuza managed to deliver a powerful kick behind his legs, knocking him down. Kakashi narrowly dodged the massive sword crashing against the ground as he got back up. As Zabuza recovered from the recoil, he heard Sasuke yell, Katan, Gokaki no Jutsu. Fire style, Fireball Jutsu. Zabuza went through several hand seals to counter the fireball, Suetun Suihashu. Water Wave Hand. A stream of water erupted from Zabuza's hand to block the fireball. The water easily overpowered Sasuke's attack and shot the Uchiha back a good distance. The swordsman repeated his jutsu and aimed it for Naruto, Suetun Suihashu. Water Wave Hand. Much to his surprise, Naruto blocked the water with his own jutsu, Suetun Sujin Hiki. Water release, water encampment wall. The two attacks pushed back and forth until Naruto went through another set of hand seals, Futon, De Tapa. Wind release, great breakthrough. Naruto's added wind allowed him to reverse Zabuza's attack back at him, washing the swordsman into the river behind him. Kakashi looked impressed as the blonde walked over towards him. I told you we could handle this guy. You're just a genin, how in the world are you doing multiple jutsus? Kakashi asked curiously. Naruto didn't answer him as he expected. Kakashi thought about his question, and then realization struck. This is Minato's son, why am I even surprised? Not to mention I'm sure he's got enormous chakra thanks to Kyuubi. Sasuke walked over and looked at the flowing river alertly. Be ready, he could come back out at any moment. Sasuke, let's do a combo and take this guy down, Naruto said calmly. An enormous explosion of water erupted from the river as Zabuza burst from it. The swordsman looked around angrily and shook his head. Since when can genin perform elemental jutsus? You underestimated us, that will be your undoing, Sasuke responded darkly. She looked towards Naruto and both nodded in unison as they simultaneously launched wind and fire towards the swordsman. His body unexpectedly turned into water, revealing it to be a water clone. The two genin looked around alertly for the swordsman before they noticed that Kakashi was encased in a water prison. You kids are pretty good, but you're the ones who underestimated me. Your sensei is now my bitch, and now it's just me and you three. Sakura, guard Tazuna, Naruto, and I will handle him, Sasuke shouted. The pink-haired girl nodded her head as she stepped in front of the old man. Zabuza split in two afterwards, leaving his water clone to hold Kakashi's water prison. The swordsman charged towards the genin with his sword raised high. Naruto ran into the water and met him halfway. The blonde barely avoided Zabuza's sword as he went through several hand seals, Suetun Suigaden. Water Fong projectile. Several water spouts shot out of the water towards Zabuza. As they got close, they sharpened and managed to stab him in several locations. Taking the opportunity, Sasuke used a Fuma Shuriken to free Kakashi from his water prison. The copy Nin pulled his headband up, revealing his Sharingan eye. Zabuza distanced himself from the three enemies and panted heavily as he briefly examined his injuries. He looked towards Naruto and growled, "There's no way you're a genin, I've never seen anybody your age do jutsus like that." "Give it up, Zabuza, you're outmatched," Kakashi stated seriously. The demon of the mist saw Kakashi's Sharingan eye and spoke up in surprise, "You're the copy Nin Kakashi? They say you mastered over 1,000 jutsus with that eye of yours. Perhaps you would like to test it out?" Kakashi asked. "No, I wasn't expecting this. The copy Nin Kakashi and these super genin of yours." Before anybody could respond to the swordsman, he created a massive wave and made his escape. Team 7 made it to the shore to avoid the colossal blast of water. They looked around and saw no sign of Zabuza. After a minute of pure silence, Kakashi took a deep breath. That's probably not the last we'll see of him. He most likely went to retrieve backup, I wouldn't doubt it if he had a little gang, Tazuna stated. That guy wasn't as strong as you made him out to be, Sasuke commented. Naruto nodded in agreement, yeah, he ran away from us. Kakashi looked over towards his students and shook his head in disbelief. Naruto, where did learn how to do all of that? Elemental jutsus are not taught in the academy, and you're not part of a major clan who taught you how to do that. I'm surprised you didn't ask sooner, Kakashi-sensei, I guess you deserve to know, Naruto sighed. Everybody perked up interested, especially Sakura as Naruto took a deep breath. You see, I have had special training from Jiraiya the Sannin for the past 4 years. I also spent a year under the tutelage of Asuma-sensei. Everybody's eyes shot open in confusion. Sakura shook her head in disbelief. That's preposterous. You can't honestly expect us to believe that one of the legendary Sannin decided to train you. That explains a lot, you're just like the 4th Hokage then, Kakashi noted. Naruto looked at the masked Jounin curiously. How so, Kakashi-sensei? Yondaime was also a pupil of Jiraiya's. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that he chose to train you, Kakashi said. What do you mean by that? Naruto asked, confused. The Jounin shrugged at his question. Nothing anyways, how the hell did you talk Asuma into training you? He doesn't like teaching. Naruto shrugged and answered, when the Hokage found out about Jiraiya-sensei training me, so did his son Asuma. The three of them had a long talk about me after they were done. Asuma said he was willing to teach me about wine chakra since I was adept in it like him. Kakashi nodded his head in amazement. Wow, I'm surprised I never heard about this until now. Wait a minute. You said you have been trained for the past 4 years? If that's the case, then why are you the dead last in the academy? Sakura questioned furiously. Naruto sighed deeply and answered, well, at first, I did it to conceal my training because Jiraiya-sensei requested that, but later on I had a different reason for doing so. Asuma-sensei told me that the genin teams were usually balanced, so I figured if I pretended to be weaker than I was, then I would get a stronger team. Sasuke had a grin etched across her face as she cut in, you really are something else, Naruto. What? That's not really fair though, Sakura shouted. Kakashi smiled beneath his mask at the blonde genin as he responded, and here I thought I was going to hate being a jounin instructor. I guess with the top 2 genins in Konoha, you guys will be ready for the chunin exams in a few months. Just how strong are you, Naruto? Sakura asked disbelievingly. The blonde didn't answer her as he turned towards the path and began to walk. The rest of his team followed suit, including Tazuna. Sakura sighed deeply as she looked at Naruto. Is this really Naruto? I can't believe that he killed those people and that he is this strong. They haven't even seen the half of it. There's no telling what they'll think of me when I unveil my other jutsus or my ace Rasengan, Naruto thought. That's not even your worst secret, a demonic voice rang through Naruto's head. The genin recognized the evil voice as his imprisoned bijou, Kyuubi. Naruto learned about the fox's existence completely by accident, but after it happened, he couldn't shut the fox's voice out of his head. It's true what they say, once you open some doors you can never close them. That was definitely the case with Kyuubi. Naruto remembered back to the fateful night that he discovered the fox's existence. Flashback. A 10-year-old Naruto was coming home from a long day of training with Jiraiya. He was feeling very sick as he collapsed on top of his bed. The blonde had been terribly ill for the past few days, and he did not know why. Jiraiya believed that despite Naruto's fever, he was still capable of basic training exercises. Naruto wasn't thrilled about it, but nevertheless he did so. Although tonight, the Jinchuriki was hearing voices in his head. Due to his very small crowd of trusted people, Naruto decided it was best to conceal this secret from all around him. For some reason, he didn't trust anybody enough to tell them about the dark voices in his head. I've got to tell Jiraiya, Naruto said aloud to himself as he stared at the ceiling worried. A shrieking dark chuckle echoed throughout his mind upon speaking. You can't trust the old man with your secrets, he'll just shun you like all the rest. I am the only one you should listen to. A terrifying demonic voice growled. Naruto cowered fearfully upon hearing the voice and grabbed his ears, closing his eyes horrified, and oh! Go away! I won't listen to you! You are a fearful and wretched thing. Your fear is pitiful and pathetic, the voice shouted back. Naruto flailed wildly on his bed in a terrified manner, trying to tune out the voice. Please just leave me alone. I won't do what you say, Naruto said desperately. I have all the answers you seek, I know what it is you desire, Kit. You wish to become powerful? Listen to me and you shall see that desire fulfilled. What are you? Just some kind of monster in my head? Naruto asked weakly as he curled up on his bed. I am your savior, mortal. Would you agree to meet with me face to face? I'm certain I can eradicate all of your doubts. Naruto rocked back and forth in his bed fearfully as he tuned out the ranting of the demonic voice. This continued for a little bit until he fell asleep. Upon waking, Naruto found himself in ankle-deep water in a massive dark hallway. Hello? Naruto yelled confused as he looked around. Where the hell am I? Naruto asked himself aloud as he wandered down the damp hallway. He heard the sound of scraping and dripping water and decided to follow the noise. He continued through the maze-like hallway until finally reaching a large open room. Naruto walked into it and looked around for the noise he had heard until he noticed a gigantic cage with a seal on it. Naruto stared at the cage for a moment, confused, until realization struck him. This is where the voice lives. Is this my mind? Correct, I decided that it was time for us to meet face to face so you would finally get over your fear of me. A massive pair of glowing red eyes shined through the cage, revealing the silhouette of a giant beast within. Naruto trembled fearfully at the eyes and spoke up nervously. What is it that you want from me? It's not what I want, it's what you want. I have watched the past 10 years of your pathetic life and I've gotta say that you are unworthy of being alive, let alone the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko. Your Kyuubi? Naruto shouted in disbelief. A dark laugh echoed throughout the room upon hearing Naruto's question. The demon smashed its head against the bars of the cage and roared loudly. I am Kyuubi. I am trapped inside of your body. Naruto fell to his knees, terrified at the fox's voice. He stared into the blood-red eyes of the fox, petrified. Look at you cowering before me like you're nothing. Naruto couldn't find the words to respond to the nine-tailed fox as he continued to stare at him. Kyuubi and Naruto stared at each other for what appeared to be hours until finally the fox sighed. You're probably too young to fully understand what I am saying. The blonde finally found his voice and spoke up. What must I do to become worthy then? If you truly wish to become powerful, you must become fearless, you must become stoic, you must become worthy of being my host. Now stand up. Naruto did as he was commanded and he stood up. The fox smiled behind the cage at the boy as he continued, Good, now walk towards the cage. Naruto walked to the very edges of the fox's massive cage just outside of the bars. He stood in front of it nervously as he saw the red eyes on the other side. Come to me, kid, you must learn a valuable lesson, the fox said in an almost sincere tone. Naruto felt his heart pump insanely fast as he passed through the massive bars of the cage. He walked closer towards the silhouette of the massive fox. The boy felt every hair on the back of his neck stand up as he slowly approached Kyubi. The fox made no sudden movements and patiently waited for the blonde to reach him. As Naruto finally reached Kyubi, the fox lowered his head until it was directly in front of the boy. See me for what I am, feel my power flowing around you. Naruto looked around curiously as a large amount of red chakra surrounded him and Kyubi. How did this happen? What are you doing inside of me? I thought Yondaime defeated you? No, unlike the rest of his village, your Hokage understood what I am and what I am capable of. Although, I find it ironic that he would seal me inside of you. The fox spoke casually as he sat down in front of Naruto. I don't understand, why is that ironic? Naruto asked, confused. The fox shook his head and chuckled. Despite his so-called heroic actions, your Hokage was a very dark person. Creating a Jinchuriki is considered one of the ultimate worldly sins. He turned you into a weapon to protect his little village. Yondaime is a hero, why would he do that? And why me? Naruto asked sadly. The red chakra surrounding Naruto and Kyubi was getting a lot closer now. Naruto didn't take notice, however, as he stared at the fox awaiting a response. It's not my place to tell you why you wouldn't be able to handle the truth. You're an abomination and my prison. Is that why everybody hates me? Naruto asked sadly. They see me when they see you. You will never change that. However, consider yourself blessed that you will never blend in with their weakness. Embrace what you are and let it make you stronger. Naruto felt tears began to fall upon hearing the harsh words of the fox. The Kyubi had no empathy upon seeing Naruto's tears and growled, This will hurt a lot, but in the end you'll thank me for it. Red chakra completely enveloped Naruto and consumed his senses. He screamed in pure agony as his vision went completely red. He woke up screaming and saw his entire body glowing with blood-red chakra. Naruto looked at his hands and cried out in agony as they stung painfully. His entire body burned as if it was on fire, causing the boy to fall off of his bed and land on the floor. He rolled around in pain as the red chakra began to amplify. Naruto heard Kyubi's voice laughing inside of his head as he flailed on the ground. Lesson number 1: Pain. It shall remove your fears and replace it with anger. I don't want this, I don't want you. Naruto inwardly yelled at the beast. That's too damn bad. Your suffering will make you powerful. End flashback. It was a very gruesome memory the blonde boy had. It was over 2 years ago, but he still remembered the searing pain his body felt for weeks afterwards. Although true to his word, Kyubi's chakra did pay off for Naruto. The Jinchuriki felt his chakra pools deepen dramatically, and the fox's chakra completely intertwined with his own. That allowed Naruto to draw upon Kyubi's power whenever he needed it. Although Naruto had never dared to use it, remembering the pain he suffered from it. Naruto reluctantly kept his encounter with Kyubi a complete secret from everybody. Although, Jiraiya did notice a significant change in the boy when he was able to master new jutsus much faster due to his ability to mass-produce shadow clones and practice. Even Jiraiya probably doesn't know my full strength, Naruto thought to himself. Are you okay, Naruto? Sakura asked, worried as she put a hand on the blonde's shoulder. Naruto looked at the pink-haired girl and smiled. Of course, Sakura-chan. I was just thinking. What were you thinking about? Sakura pestered as she got closer to the blonde. He looked at her curiously and raised a brow as she smiled at him. Nothing important, Naruto sighed. Come on, Naruto. Why all the secrets? You can't honestly expect me to go out with a guy who refuses to open up at all, Sakura whined. Leave him alone, Harpy, Sasuke cut in dryly. The pink girl glared at Sasuke angrily and stuck her tongue out at the Uchiha. You don't own him. Let him speak for himself. Kakashi sighed as he looked back at the two girls. Tazuna looked over towards Kakashi and whispered, What is up with these girls of yours? The copy Nin shrugged as he looked back at the two girls standing on either side of Naruto. I don't know. So where to now? Naruto asked as he looked over towards Tazuna. Now kid, we're going to go see my family before I have another near-death experience. It's not that far from here, Tazuna answered cheerfully. Naruto smiled and replied, lead the way. Upon finally reaching Tazuna's house, Team 7 was greeted warmly by a woman standing at the doorway. Father, I'm glad to see you're okay. With all the sightings of missing Nin lately, I had assumed the worst. Tazuna ran up and hugged the woman tightly. It is good to see you safe, Tsunami. Without the help of these brave Konoha ninjas, I would be dead right now. Suddenly, a little boy ran out of the house and tackled the old man's leg, hugging him fiercely. Grandpa. Inari, good to see you, my boy, Tazuna said with a smile. Tsunami examined the Konoha nin and looked over towards Tazuna. Are we having guests tonight, father? The man nodded his head. These people have already saved my life twice. They are welcome here. Tsunami smiled at Team 7 and invited them inside of the house. Come in, you brave souls. I was just in the middle of cooking dinner. You can go unwind in the guest bedrooms if you want. Thank you, Tsunami-san, for inviting us into your home, Sakura said warmly. We sincerely appreciate it. Thanks, Naruto added as he sat down. Sasuke and Kakashi silently nodded at the woman as the group all sat down around the main room. Tazuna took a seat next to Naruto and Kakashi as his daughter cooked dinner a short distance away. Wow, I gotta say that you Konoha types are alright, Tazuna remarked. We tried to live up to the expectations that our Hokage demands, Kakashi replied. Tazuna looked over at his daughter in the kitchen and chuckled. Tsunami, you're never going to believe it, but we have a celebrity in our house. The woman looked curiously at her father, as he pointed at Kakashi. The masked Jounin modestly chuckled as he rubbed the back of his head. Well, I am not that famous. This is the copy Nin Kakashi and his 3 students, Tazuna remarked. Tsunami looked impressed. Copy Nin Kakashi? I've heard about you, aren't you the son of White Fang? Kakashi had a straight, emotionless look on his face. His silence left an uneasy tension in the air. After a long, awkward silence, Tazuna spoke up again. So anyways, you and Inari should hear about what these guys did to protect me. Inari sat right next to his grandpa and was glaring at the Konoha shinobi. Tsunami looked at her son and sternly spoke. It's rude to stare, son. These people are ninjas. They saved your grandfather from the bad men. The child silently continued to stare. Tazuna took a deep breath and began to speak again. So anyways, the first time they saved me is when these 2 scary guys with chains and gauntlets came out of a puddle in the road. I thought I was done for, but then these kids actually saved me. Then they fought off Zabuza, the demon of the mist. Inari looked skeptically at the 2 girls and Naruto and shouted, No way. That's a lie, Grandpa. He's not lying, kid. I killed 2 of them, Naruto said darkly. Everybody looked concerned at Naruto's change of tone. How could you do that? That makes you no better than the bad men, Inari shouted at Naruto. The blonde sighed deeply and shook his head. No, it wasn't like that. I need some air. Without another word, Naruto got up and left the building. Tazuna shook his head at the sight and sighed. That boy is really something else. Kakashi-san, does he normally act like this? Kakashi shook his head. No, Naruto is normally optimistic and cheerful. I guess killing those assassins affected him more than he would probably admit. I'll go check on him, Sasuke said as she immediately got up and left. Like hell you will. I'm coming too, Sakura yelled. The Uchiha girl shrugged. Whatever. As the 2 genin left the house, Tsunami spoke up fearfully. It's getting late. Are you sure those 3 will okay by themselves out there? Tsunami, relax. Those kids are official ninja. They'll be fine, Tazuna said. The woman sat down at the table and looked over at Kakashi's distant face. What is troubling you, Kakashi-kun? The masked man lazily looked over towards the woman and sighed. I got captured earlier by Zabuza in a water prison. I would have been dead if it wasn't for my students. Tsunami looked shocked. No way, it's hard to imagine somebody as powerful as you getting captured. Kakashi nodded his head. Yes, I didn't see it coming and he trapped me. If I was assigned to a regular group of genin, then we would all be dead right now. Don't beat yourself, Kakashi-kun. I'm sure you taught them well, Tsunami commented optimistically. Kakashi looked down shamefully and sighed. I haven't really taught them anything. They are all products of different teachings. Tazuna nodded his head and elaborated. The blonde boy was special trained by one of the Sannin. He said so himself. Really now? Tsunami asked, impressed. Inari looked confused. What's a Sannin, mommy? Kakashi answered the boy. The Sannin are the 3 legendary pupils of Hiruzen Sarutobi. They are all renowned for being extremely powerful and for their special summons. That's amazing, Tsunami said. Maybe it's a miracle that delivered heroes such as yourselves to our village in this time of desperate need. Inari got angry upon hearing his mother's comment and ran out the door. Naruto was wandering through the run-down village. He saw children on the streets and looked away painfully as brief flashes of his past came into his head. The Jinchuriki's mind wandered to the two Chunin he killed several days ago. Their deaths were necessary, but for some reason, Naruto felt extremely guilty about killing them. Of course his guilt didn't go unnoticed. Nothing he ever went unnoticed by Kyuubi. Why are you moping over this bullshit? Get over yourself, kid. I killed those men, they may have deserved to die, but am I any better by killing them? Naruto asked the demon fox. The fox sighed at his question and replied, this is the truth, only the strongest survive. You don't need to repress this. Take in everything you see, everything you do. The truth is an ugly beast lurking beneath the surface of an intricately spun web of lies. The beast is brutal and terrifying just like the truth, but to understand the beast is to master it. Naruto finished. The fox chuckled at Naruto's words. I'm glad to see that some of my lessons have stuck with you, but are you just speaking the words or do you truly understand them? Naruto remained silent for a moment before replying, why should words matter anyways? I killed those two guys, that makes me just as wrong as they are. What's to stop me from becoming bad? The Kyuubi huffed in irritation at the boy, you need to understand the truth of the world. Good and evil are non-existent. Killing isn't wrong, it is necessary to survive. I'll leave you alone with that thought, never forget it. Naruto wandered all the way through the village and was now in the woods. He looked around curiously. I guess I lost track of where I was going, better turn back now. Naruto sighed as he looked around. The forest was dead silent. He remembered an important lesson Asuma had told him. When the forest was silent, it was trying to warn you. The blonde immediately pulled out his trench knives and yelled loudly, don't even think that you can ambush me. Upon hearing the boy's comment, a large group of bandits leapt from the bushes and trees surrounding Naruto. They all laughed at the sight of the blonde. Hey, what do we have here? A kid wandering in the forest all by himself at night? A random bandit laughed. Killing people is unavoidable if you're going to be a strong ninja. Wipe these fools out now. The Bijou ordered fiercely. Naruto channeled wind chakra over trench knives and coldly looked over the group of bandits before him. They all looked shocked at the sight of Naruto's blades glowing blue. Then all of a sudden, the boy's entire body glowed blue as he walked towards the bandits. Don't make me kill you. The bandits looked horrified at the sight, but nevertheless began to charge the boy. He parried and dodged all of their clumsy attacks effortlessly. This is your final warning, leave now or you will all die, Naruto said. This is your final warning, leave now or you will all die. Naruto would occasionally say things in sync with Kyuubi. It was a nasty side effect. He felt subtle influences of the demon fox constantly eating away at his every waking thought. His demonic voice terrified the bandits as they backed away. Naruto's eyes then turned red as he calmly walked closer. By the gods! He's a monster! One man shouted as the bandits began to scramble, running away horrified. Most of them escaped, but one man was unlucky as Naruto embedded him against a tree with his trench knives. The man's shirt was sticking to the side of a tree and looked worried as Naruto inched closer towards him. Tell me who your leader is and where is your hideout? Naruto demanded in his normal voice. The bandit shook in terror as the blonde's red eyes stared into his own. Answer me! Naruto shouted. Without wasting another second, the man did as commanded. Our BB base is on the northeastern end of the island in the ruins of the Whirlpool village. You're going to take me there right now? Naruto shouted at the man. The man began to burst into tears and shook his head. They'll kill me though. Naruto looked at him and sighed. I won't let them kill you, just show me where this base is. His change in tone caused the man to settle down and relax. He reluctantly nodded his head. I'll show you where it is. But I am not going inside. They'll kill me on sight when they find out I brought you there. Then we don't have a lot of time for you to complain now, do we? Naruto asked. The man sighed deeply. You must be one of those Konoha shinobi we keep hearing about. Zabuza-sama said that the copy Nin Kakashi was here with a genin team. Are you sure you want to go there alone? Naruto shrugged as pulled his knives from the man's clothes. I'll be fine, take me there immediately before your superiors have time to find out. The man fearfully obeyed the blonde and began to lead him towards the base. Sasuke and Sakura walked back into the house and shook their heads simultaneously at Kakashi. There's no sign of Naruto, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura said worried. Sasuke nodded in agreement. We were able to identify several sightings of him, but the villagers here refused to say anything beyond the fact that they saw him. Kakashi shook his head worried. It has been 4 hours, what could have happened to him? All of a sudden, Inari ran into the house and shouted, I heard some bad men talking. They said they saw a demon with red eyes in the forest. Everybody in the room looked confused at the boy's comment. Kakashi immediately understood what that meant. That must be Naruto. What if his seal broke? Kakashi looked at his two pupils and sighed. You two must stay here and protect Tazuna at all costs. His survival is the primary objective of this mission. I'm going to go find Naruto and investigate this so-called demon. Please stay here, you two, Kakashi spoke urgently. Sasuke nodded in response. We'll stay and watch them. Kakashi-sensei, please be quick and find Naruto. Kakashi immediately left the two genin alone in the house with Tazuna and his family. What if he was kidnapped? Sakura shouted, worried. Sasuke looked somewhat amused at the concept and shook her head. No, it seems more likely that Naruto went on a recon mission. Kakashi-kun looked pretty worried, Tsunami commented as she shook her head concerned. Sasuke sighed as she leaned against the wall. I can't believe I am stuck babysitting Barbie Ninja and this family of whiners. I should be out there looking for Naruto or helping him. Meanwhile, Naruto and his hostage had finally reached the entrance to the bandit base. Naruto looked at him and asked, so who can I expect to find inside? Gato was here recently, but this area is mostly where Zabuza-sama resides, the man said fearfully. You said this used to be a village? Naruto asked. The bandit nodded in response. This is the remains of Uzushigakure. A large portion of the village was burned down, but this area is the main stronghold that used to belong to the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki clan? Am I related to these people? No way, Naruto thought as he examined the area. You're free to go. I suggest you move to Konoha and become a carpenter or something. You won't want to be a bandit anymore, Naruto spoke darkly. Are you bipolar, kid? One moment you're evil and the next you're nice, then you're evil again. The bandit asked. Naruto didn't bother responding as he casually walked towards the semi-demolished remains of the Uzumaki compound. Upon entering the building, he noticed a large amount of intricate artwork hanging on the walls. On the far wall, a massive painting hung of a red-haired woman. The room was very dusty, but Naruto was able to make out the name inscribed on a plate below the portrait, Mito Uzumaki, founder of the Uzumaki clan and wife of the first Hokage. Naruto looked at the portrait awestruck for a moment until realization hit him. No way. That would mean I'm related to the first and second Hokages. Naruto looked at the portrait, proudly examining the woman with pride. Wow, her hair is really red. I remember her, Kyuubi said distantly. Naruto didn't bother asking the fox how, because most of the time Kyuubi refused to tell him anything. Naruto began to examine the room thoroughly and saw a staircase on the far wall leading downstairs. The blonde followed it cautiously as he looked around for guards. Much to his surprise, the place was fairly empty. As he got deeper underground, he noticed several bandits and decided to follow them. He expertly trailed behind the clumsy bandits, following them through the maze-like basement of the compound. Finally, they reached an open room with a window overlooking the coast of the island. Naruto carefully peeked around the corner and saw Zabuza lying on a bed with his sword in his hand. Next to him was a pale but pretty caramel-eyed girl with long dark flowing hair. Haku is a girl, damn it. Naruto watched the scene unfold interested. The bandits walked over towards Zabuza and spoke up. Zabuza-sama, there was this demon in the woods and it nearly killed us. The swordsman looked at the man without an ounce of pity and laughed. Why are you telling me? That's none of my concern. Another bandit interrupted the swordsman. You don't understand, Zabuza-sama. It was this blonde kid with a Konoha headband. He was all glowing and spoke in an evil voice. Zabuza looked annoyed. Did you just interrupt me? I don't like it when useless bandits interrupt me. The swordsman stood up and grabbed said bandit by his throat, slamming him against the wall. The others got on their knees and cowered fearfully as the swordsman shook his head without remorse. You stupid idiots, you could have led him here. Upon hearing that comment, Naruto instantly snuck away from the door and further down the hall. He looked around the corner and saw the three bandits running away in fear as Zabuza and Haku came out of the room. Naruto hid in a nearby empty room and watched the missing Nin walk upstairs. This is my chance to check that room for anything relevant, Naruto thought as he silently crept around the corner and snuck into Zabuza's room. He didn't notice anything out of the ordinary about the room other than a massive vault on the far wall. The door to the vault was open and inside Naruto saw a lot of expensive-looking things. Although one thing in particular caught his eye, and that was a scroll. The blonde picked it up, opened it briefly, reading the contents. Uzumaki bloodlines, holy shit. I am so keeping this. Naruto quickly looked around for anything else of interest, but all of a sudden, he heard a shriek from behind. He turned around and charged towards the source with his blades drawn. He saw a random bandit looking at him horrified. You can't take chances with this guy, throw him out the window. Naruto did as the fox commanded and kicked the bandit out of the massive window. Afterwards, he leapt out himself and climbed to the roof of the compound. I better get out of here before Zabuza shows up again, Naruto thought desperately as he ran away. Kakashi was following a trail left by several bandits. As he ran swiftly along, a flash of yellow suddenly caught his eye as he saw Naruto dashing towards him from the side. Kakashi-sensei, there you are! I found out where Zabuza's base is. The Jounin stopped in his tracks as he examined the blonde. He looked closely for anything out of the ordinary, but didn't identify any signs of battle or injury. Kakashi took a deep breath and shook his head. You had everyone worried. What were you thinking wandering off on a midnight recon mission? Yeah, it's pretty dangerous out here, Naruto commented. Kakashi looked at the blonde curiously. Why were you out looking for Zabuza's base anyways? Our priority is not to kill him, but to protect Tazuna until the bridge is built. Well, I got attacked by a bunch of bandits, and I figured it would be a good chance to find out where the enemy is coming from, Naruto answered. I didn't realize that you were part of Anbu, Kakashi joked as he shook his head. I'm not though, the blonde replied. Kakashi nodded and laughed. It was a joke, Naruto. Anyways, what did you find out about their base? Before Naruto could answer, Kyuubi spoke up. Don't tell him he'll take that scroll away from you. What are you talking about? Kakashi-sensei is trustworthy, Naruto inwardly responded. After a few moments, Naruto answered, I found this strange compound in the ruins near the northeastern part of the island. The bandit who brought me there said it used to be part of the Whirlpool village. Kakashi thought for a moment. No, he can't learn about his clan, that's only asking for trouble. Did you go inside? Kakashi asked, slightly worried. Naruto nodded his head honestly. Yes, I wasn't there for long though. Maybe he didn't find out. I can't let him go anywhere near that place again, Kakashi thought desperately. Something wrong, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked. Naruto, I don't want you going anywhere near that place again, do you understand? Kakashi asked, completely serious. Naruto looked at him curiously. Why though? Now we can take the fight to Zabuza and don't have to wait around for him to attack us again. Just please don't do it, Naruto, that place is very dangerous, Kakashi said. Is he trying to keep me from finding out about my clan? Naruto wondered. After a moment, he nodded respectfully. Okay, Kakashi-sensei, I won't go near it anymore. When Kakashi and Naruto finally walked through the door of Tazuna's house, everybody got excited. Naruto! You idiot! What in the world were you thinking wandering off by yourself all night? Sakura shouted. Sasuke stepped in front of the boy and had a coy smile on her face. Did you have a nice walk? The three of you should get some sleep now. I'll stay up and watch the house, Kakashi said. Naruto yawned in agreement. I guess I didn't realize how tired I was. Good night, everybody, Naruto said as he walked upstairs and headed to his room. Tsunami looked concerned at the boy's attitude. Are you sure he's okay, Kakashi-kun? Sasuke, Sakura, and Tazuna all eyed the Jounin awaiting his response. Naruto's just tired. You can ask him about his little walk tomorrow if you want. Sasuke, Sakura, I recommend you two go and get some sleep as well. Sakura nodded at the masked man and headed upstairs. Sakura hated to admit it, but she was genuinely concerned for Naruto at the moment. He's gone all night, then he comes back with Kakashi and pretends like nothing happened. Maybe there's something going on. Sasuke looked at the copy Nin and shook her head. You seem a bit concerned, Kakashi-sensei. The masked Jounin instantly returned to his usual lazy look and shrugged. Not anymore. Anyways, from here on out I want the three of you to keep a close watch on each other. I don't want any of you wandering around by yourselves out here. Meanwhile, Naruto was reading the scroll he stole up in his room. It was very elaborate, showing how to perform Uzumaki bloodline jutsus. Lava and steam release, how does this work exactly? Naruto thought to himself. The Jinchuriki didn't bother going to sleep as he read over the contents of the scroll. To perform the lava and steam release bloodlines, one must be related to the Uzumaki clan. Lava is created by combining earth and fire elements. Steam is created from the combination of fire and water. Naruto shook his head in confusion. What the hell? I thought that a ninja could only have two elemental affinities. Jiraiya-sensei said so himself. How in the world am I going to do this? Naruto had no clue how to combine elements, and closed the scroll frustrated. I'm gonna need some time to figure out how this works. The blonde proceeded to conceal his scroll and lie back down on his bed. Suddenly, he heard a knock at the door. Come in, he said casually as he stared at the ceiling. Entering the room was none other than Kakashi. He walked over towards Naruto and crossed his arms. I was just checking on you. Do you want to talk about earlier? I'm just not feeling well after that encounter with those guys I killed, Naruto admitted. Kakashi looked empathetically at the genin and sighed. I understand the feeling still, though you shouldn't let stuff like that consume you. What's done is done. Naruto glanced at Kakashi sadly and asked, well, what's to stop me from becoming like them? I don't want to be a killer. The masked nin thought for a moment, and sat down on Naruto's bed next to him. Naruto, things like that will happen from time to time. As long as you have a noble purpose such as protecting someone or something important to you, then you'll retain your humanity, Kakashi said sincerely. Naruto felt a lot better after hearing his sensei's words. He smiled at the man and spoke up, thanks, Kakashi-sensei, I'll remember that. The Jounin nodded as he got up and made his way out of Naruto's room. Good night, Naruto. As he closed the door, Kakashi shook his head sadly. Minato-sensei, I really wish you were here. The next day, Naruto was the first person awake. He didn't get much sleep as usual and decided to go out for some air. As he walked outside, he heard a familiar voice. Going out for a walk, Naruto? He turned towards the source and saw Sasuke leaning against the wall. You're up pretty early, Sasuke, the blonde noted as he walked over towards the girl. She eyed him curiously and crossed her arms. Mind if I go with you? Well, Naruto began. Sasuke interrupted him. Good, let's go right now before the others wake up. Naruto reluctantly nodded his head as he and Sasuke began to go on a walk. They headed through the village and towards the bridge. Naruto sighed inwardly. How am I going to practice this scroll if Sasuke trails me all day? The Uchiha girl kept glancing over at Naruto and stared at him. He would occasionally catch her doing so, causing the girl to look away. This continued for a while until they reached the bridge. Naruto, how did you end up as Jiraiya's apprentice? The blonde looked over at the raven-haired girl and shrugged. It was strange, he just found me one day on top of the Hokage heads. I don't really know how it happened. You're a great big puzzle to me, Naruto. The more I try to solve you, the more complex you become, Sasuke sighed as she looked at the ground. Naruto stopped in his tracks and looked over the side of the bridge. He exhaled deeply as he looked over towards the Uchiha girl. Ever since we've become teammates, you have been a lot nicer to me. Why? Sasuke remained quiet as she walked over towards the boy. Naruto eyed her curiously, awaiting a response. This is my chance, maybe I should tell him. No! I won't let myself become weak. What would Itachi say? After a long awkward silence, the Uchiha girl spoke. Don't go off thinking anything, Uzumaki. You and I are rivals. I only pay you respect because I know you're strong. Naruto looked put off by her comment. Oh, I thought we were becoming friends or something. Guess I was wrong. If you hate me so much, then why did you want to go on a walk with me? You were wrong, we're just squad mates and nothing more. Stop trying to be my friend, Sasuke shouted coldly. Naruto sighed as he began to walk away. Fine, have it your way, Sasuke. What the hell was I thinking? I can't let myself get all worked up over some boy. I have to become powerful so that I can kill Itachi and avenge my clan, Sasuke thought angrily. The raven-haired girl watched the sun rising in the distance and sighed. Damn it. What the hell did I just do? Now he's going to hate me forever. True to his word, Naruto didn't go near the Uzumaki compound again. He knew that Kakashi didn't want him to find out about his clan, but he didn't know why. The next week was very boring for Team 7 as they guarded Tizuna and his workers who were building the bridge. There was an occasional bandit group that would come by and threaten its production, but they immediately fled at the sight of Kakashi. The bridge was nearing completion way ahead of schedule due to Naruto's army of shadow clones. His team was completely surprised by it. Sakura in general was completely blown away, saying that his chakra levels had to be enormous. This is amazing. At this rate, the bridge should be finished by tomorrow, Tizuna cheered. The old man had taken a great liking towards Naruto. The boy's invaluable assistance in building the bridge greatly affected the morale of Tizuna's workers. This optimism was contagious as it gave the village a feeling of hope. This is going great, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura cheered as she sat down next to the real Naruto. The masked man lazily looked up from his book and nodded. You're right, although I am honestly surprised that Zabuza hasn't shown up again. He'll be here, Naruto said as he stretched. Everybody around him looked oddly at the boy. What makes you say that? Sakura asked. The Jinchuriki shrugged in response. Normally when things start going super well, something bad happens to mess it all up. Kakashi looked at the blonde and sighed. He's not just talking about the bridge, it must be Sasuke. The two of them haven't said a word to each other in days. You worry too much, kid. This feels like one of those days where absolutely nothing could go wrong, Tizuna cheered. As if inviting trouble, a heavy shroud of mist began to cover the bridge. Everybody looked around curiously at the sight. What in the world? Why is it misty? I thought today was going to be sunny, Tazuna said, clueless. Kakashi looked around alertly and looked at Naruto. Dispel those clones, we've got company. Naruto did as commanded. He felt the familiar overwhelming surge of drowsiness hit him upon doing so, but nevertheless regained his composure. Sasuke walked over towards the group and refused to look at Naruto as she spoke. Kakashi-sensei, is it Zabuza? The masked man nodded his head. Yes, it has to be. Tazuna looked worried. Why did I have go and jinx this perfect day? The workers instantly fled as they saw a figure wearing a black outfit with a massive sword walking across the bridge. It was hard to spot him, but through the mist, Kakashi recognized Zabuza. The swordsman drew his massive blade as he approached and grinned. Good to see you again, Copy Nin Kakashi. You won't be getting away this time, Kakashi stated seriously. Zabuza laughed at the masked man and shook his head. You Konoha ninja are pretty damn arrogant. By the way, which one of you fuckers broke into my base? Zabuza looked over the group for Naruto and spotted him in the back. The two briefly made eye contact. Zabuza saw the blonde burst into a grin. You and your pathetic squad of kids are going to die, Kakashi. That's where you're wrong this time. I am not going to hold back against you, Kakashi said as he lifted his headband revealing his Sharingan eye. Zabuza laughed as another figure appeared next to him. This time I'm not alone, let's see how well your dream team kids can handle Haku. Haku immediately threw a large number of Saban needles towards Naruto. The blonde deflected and dodged most of them, and began to back away as Haku charged towards him. Kakashi looked over at Sasuke. Help Naruto out. I can handle Zabuza. The Uchiha nodded and ran after them. Sakura, guard Tazuna with your life, Kakashi ordered. The pink-haired girl nodded her head as she stepped in front of Tazuna. Now it's just you and me, Kakashi. Zabuza laughed as he drew his sword and looked at the masked man fiercely. Zabuza immediately leapt towards the Jounin and smashed his blade towards him. Kakashi managed to evade the overhead smash and ducked as Zabuza spun his blade around. Kakashi stabbed his kunai towards the swordsman but was unsuccessful as Zabuza kicked his arm. The swordsman did a backhand spring and laughed at Kakashi. Come on, Copy Nin, I thought that Sharingan of yours was super powerful. Kakashi had trouble finding Zabuza in the shroud of mist. He looked over towards Sakura and Tazuna, worried as he saw Zabuza charging the pink-haired girl. Sakura fearfully awaited the attack but was relieved as Kakashi kicked Zabuza's wrist, knocking his sword a considerable distance away. He barely had time to dodge a hail of shuriken from Kakashi as he ran to retrieve his sword. As he got to it, he saw Kakashi pick the blade up and throw it over the edge of the bridge. Zabuza looked pissed upon seeing his sword fly over the edge and dove after it. Meanwhile, with Haku, Naruto, Sasuke, the two genin were parrying ice needles from random directions in the misty battleground. Naruto had his trench knives drawn and dove towards random directions searching for Haku. He remained close to Sasuke and covered the Uchiha's flanks from a majority of the attacks. Suddenly, a large dome of ice mirrors surrounded the two genin as they looked around confused. Haku appeared in every single one of them and began to launch a barrage of ice needles from all directions towards the two. Sasuke went through the customary hand seals and shouted, Katan, Gokaki no Jutsu. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The large fireball enveloped the needles in all directions and scorched several of Haku's ice mirrors. Unfortunately, the fire was not effective against Haku's mirrors as they solidified again. Then suddenly, Haku fired another barrage of ice needles and leapt from an adjacent mirror and fired a lance of ice towards the blonde. Naruto went through several hand seals to counter the projectiles. Futon, De Tapa. Wind release, great breakthrough. Unfortunately for Naruto, he didn't notice the ice lance and got impaled in the back by it, causing him to fall down in pain. Sasuke looked at Naruto worried as the boy fell to the ground. She launched another fireball to scorch Haku's attacks and knelt down beside him. Don't die, Naruto. Stand up. The Uchiha girl suddenly got angry as Naruto coughed up blood. She stood up angrily, and her eyes began to turn red, unveiling her Sharingan. Haku was surprised by this, was shocked to see the Uchiha's movements speed up drastically as she dodged all of the ice needles. Sasuke drew a Fuma Shuriken and threw it at a nearby mirror, cracking its surface. She then fired another fireball towards the cracked mirror and leapt towards it, shattering the mirror completely. Haku was unable to stop Sasuke as she repeated this process, opening a hole in Haku's attack range. Naruto managed to stand up and looked around for Haku, but was surprised as the girl appeared behind him holding a Saban needle over his neck. Back away or your friend dies, Haku said as she walked towards Sasuke. The Uchiha reluctantly did so and watched in shock as Haku stuck the needle into Naruto's back and pushed him off the side of the bridge. Sasuke immediately took the opportunity to charge the girl, but was blocked as Haku created an ice mirror. Then, there was dead silence as the raven-haired girl looked around for Haku. She cautiously eyed the surrounding area until Kakashi appeared next to her. The copy Nin looked at the Uchiha girl and asked, "Where is Naruto? Where is Zabuza's companion?" The Uchiha looked around angrily. "Naruto is in the water. He's in trouble." Underneath the bridge, Zabuza was just resurfacing with his sword in hand. He saw Naruto falling over the edge of the bridge but was surprised as the genin landed on the water. He looked towards the blonde and laughed as Naruto spotted him. "Which one of you Konoha bitches broke into my vault and stole my scroll?" Zabuza demanded as he glared at the blonde. Naruto pulled the Senbon needle out of his back and laughed. "You mean the scroll I stole?" Zabuza looked dumbfounded. "How did a kid like you break into my room?" "It must be an Uzumaki trait, or something. That scroll rightfully belongs to me," Naruto answered. "Like hell it does!" Zabuza shouted as he went through hand seals, Suetun Suihashu. Water wave hand. Naruto avoided the blast, but Zabuza continued to trail him with it. Thinking fast, he dove towards Zabuza and shouted, "Futon, de Tapa!" Wind release, great breakthrough. The pressure from Naruto's wind attack negated the water, redirecting it back towards Zabuza. As Naruto landed next to the swordsman, he received a powerful kick to the face, sending him flying. The genin slid across the surface of the water but regained his footing in time to notice Zabuza preparing another attack, Suetun Daibakufu no Jutsu. Grand Waterfall Technique. Naruto was completely washed away by the attack and smashed against the side of one of the bridge supports. Seizing this opportunity, Zabuza charged towards the blonde with his sword raised. As he brought it down full force, Kakashi managed to block it. The swordsman looked angry and reared back for another swing. However, before he could connect, Naruto hit him with an attack, Suetun Suryuban. Water Dragon Whip. A whirling sphere of water circled over Naruto's head. Kakashi copied Naruto's jutsu and did one himself. The two huge water spheres spun powerfully as they both lashed towards Zabuza. The swordsman hightailed it away from the two ninja and climbed up on the bridge again. Kakashi looked at a panting Naruto and spoke urgently, "Go help Sasuke, I'll finish him off." The blonde nodded his head and made his way onto the bridge again. When Naruto got up there, he saw Haku firing a barrage of ice needles towards Tazuna. He saw Sasuke guarding Tazuna with an unconscious Sakura lying nearby embedded with several ice needles. Haku then surrounded Sasuke with a bunch of ice mirrors again. However, much to Sasuke's utter relief, Naruto and Kakashi smashed through two of them and guarded the Uchiha from the hail of ice. Kakashi held his arm up and motioned for everybody to stand back as he went through more hand seals. His hand began to charge with lightning afterwards and he began to smash random mirrors. Naruto and Sasuke helped him out by combining their wind and fire again. Finally, only one mirror remained. The blonde drew his trench knives and threw both full force, smashing the mirror and blasting Haku out of it. The mist began to clear as the last mirror was shattered, and Team 7 could see Zabuza standing in front of the defeated Haku. "I've gotta hand it to you, Kakashi, you sure did train these kids well. That blonde one in particular, I had no idea he was an Uzumaki," Zabuza stated. "Why would that matter?" Sasuke asked as she looked at the blonde. Zabuza shook his head and laughed. "Don't tell me you haven't heard about the Uzumaki clan? They were..." "Enough. Let us end this," Kakashi shouted as he charged a Chidori in his hand. Before anybody made another move, they all heard a loud laugh sounding from a distance. Everybody looked over to see Gato and a large group of thugs standing on the bridge. "Looks like you failed, Zabuza. I always knew you were worthless. I guess it was too much to hope for that you would all kill each other," the short man said. Zabuza looked pissed. "Gato? What the hell are you talking about?" "Ha ha ha, I was never going to pay you, and now that you've all weakened each other up, I can kill you all and destroy the production of this bridge." The swordsman did not look happy. He looked over towards Kakashi and sighed. "We're no longer enemies, Kakashi. I have no reason to fight you and your team any longer." The swordsman drew his blade and walked towards Gato and his men with a terrifying glare. "You want to kill me? Come and try." The businessman looked terrified as Kakashi, Naruto, and Sasuke followed him towards the group of bandits. Naruto stood next to Zabuza and spoke up. "I hope some of you remember me." Several of the men recognized Naruto and looked terrified. "Oh, by the gods! It's the Demon Kid!" They barely had time to say anything else as Zabuza cleaved through waves of bandits with his sword. He killed a good majority of them as he made his way to Gato. The crime lord was petrified as Zabuza impaled him against the side of the bridge with his massive sword. "Nobody double-crosses me," Zabuza shouted angrily as he drew his sword and walked away from the man. The remaining bandits fled in fear upon seeing Gato die. As the scene began to calm down, Zabuza walked back over towards Haku with a distant look on his face. He picked the girl up bridal style and examined her injuries. "Good, she's still alive," Zabuza sighed in relief. Team 7 walked behind the swordsman and eyed him curiously. He turned around with Haku in his arms and sighed. "You won't have to worry about us anymore. Haku and I are done with this place," Zabuza said. Kakashi nodded his head and sighed. "This mission is off the record anyways, we never saw you." There was a brief silence before Tazuna looked at Kakashi curiously. "Are you going to let him go? He tried to kill us." "I'm just a mercenary, I could care less about your bridge or any of you," Zabuza responded distantly. "This isn't right, that man is a criminal," Tazuna shouted in disbelief. "It was an honor meeting you, Kapinin Kakashi. I hope I never see you again," Zabuza stated as he began to walk away. The masked jounin remained silent as he watched Zabuza walking into the distance. Tazuna shook his head at the man and sighed. "I hope you know what you're doing." "Well, at least the bridge can be completed now," Sasuke said as she looked around. Kakashi nodded and walked over towards the unconscious Sakura. He picked up the pink-haired girl and looked around. "Naruto, take Sakura back to Tazuna's house so she can recover. I'm going to spread the word to the townspeople that Gato is dead. We'll have this bridge finished by tomorrow," Tazuna said cheerfully. The following day was spent finishing the bridge up. Everybody in the small village decided to chip in and help Tazuna's workers and Team 7 due to the heroic actions they showed. Although Naruto's shadow clones were a significant part of the process. Team 7 stood proudly next to Tazuna as he announced the bridge's completion to the town. Sakura, who had recovered from her recent injuries, stood with her team. "Good people, today we have finally completed the bridge. The criminal Lord Gato is gone and all of the thugs have been run out of our town," Tazuna announced cheerfully. A loud chorus of cheers and whistles erupted after Tazuna's announcement. He nodded proudly and held his hand up as he continued. "However, we would not have accomplished this outstanding feat without the help of these brave Konoha shinobi. Let their names be forever remembered as the heroes of Wave Country." Another explosion of cheers followed Tazuna's words as he held his arm out pointing towards the 4 Konoha ninjas. "We owe our eternal gratitude towards the mighty Kapinin Kakashi, the esteemed Sasuke Uchiha, the beautiful Sakura Haruno, and lastly to the boy who made the greatest contribution to the bridge's construction, Naruto Uzumaki." Applause followed the acknowledgement as the villagers began to chant, "And they are you too. And they are you too." Tazuna smiled as he continued, "To honor these brave defenders, I hereby name this the Great Naruto Bridge. Also the names of his great comrades shall forever be emblazoned below it." Naruto looked modest for once in his life. The boy wasn't used to massive acknowledgement, or being a hero. "He named the bridge after me?" Naruto thought to himself as he felt his eyes water. He blinked away his tears and waved proudly towards the adoring crowd. The rest of his team, excluding Kakashi, were surprised at the bridge's name. "No way, a bridge named after Naruto," Sakura thought. "Better him than me. Fame is an overrated double-edged sword," Sasuke thought as she eyed her blonde teammate. Naruto noticed Sasuke looking at him and managed to catch her eye. The two genin held eye contact briefly until Sasuke looked away. Naruto was slightly discouraged by Sasuke's attitude lately. He had really taken a liking to his new teammate, but her condescending behavior of not acknowledging him lately really took its toll. Not to mention he was still upset about the fight they had a week ago. "Well, we need to return to Konoha," Kakashi announced as he motioned for his 3 pupils to follow him. Everybody continued to applaud as the 4 ninjas took their leave. As they walked over the bridge, Tazuna and his family ran to catch up with them. The man panted as he handed a large black bag to Kakashi. The jounin eyed it curiously. "What's this?" "Just a parting gift from the village. Everybody chipped in to pay you guys what you rightfully deserved for helping us," Tazuna said. "Sweet!" Naruto cheered as he turned around. Surprisingly for the Jinchuriki though, Tazuna held his hand open. "I never properly thanked you for everything you've done. I was wrong to underestimate an apprentice of Jiraiya." The blonde sheepishly rubbed the back of his head and laughed. "It's okay. You guys stay safe." Naruto then shook the man's hand. "You'll always be welcome in my home," Tsunami added as she hugged the individual members of Team 7. Finally Inari spoke up, "Come visit us." Naruto nodded in response, "I sure will." After their final goodbyes, Team 7 finally set out again on their way back home. The return trip was fairly uneventful for Team 7. They were all a bit tired from the battle and the bridge building, so none of them talked much at all. Sakura, of course, still liked to break the awkward silence from time to time. As the group neared Konoha, Sakura sighed heavily. What a long trip, I can't wait to take a shower and sleep in my own bed. Agreed, Naruto added. The pink-haired girl looked over at Naruto and began to stare at him. This was very unusual for the blonde. Ever since Naruto saved Sakura's life from Zabuza's sword, the girl seemed much more interested in him. He pretended not to notice her awkwardly long stares or smiles, but Naruto wondered what was going through Sakura's head. Sure, he saved her, but Sakura had no interest in him. Or so he thought. Sakura's interest in Naruto seemed to only grow with time over the past week. Although despite this opportunity, Naruto found himself oddly put off by Sakura's attitude. I wonder if she really likes me? Probably not. She is most likely only interested in my secrets, just like Sasuke. Naruto's mind trailed to the thought of his raven-haired teammate. He didn't know why he cared so much about her rejecting his friendship. Lately, Naruto's mind had been more focused on Sasuke than Sakura. He didn't know why either. Naruto hated Sasuke, or so he thought. She's such a bitch, she treated me like I was nothing for 4 years. Then we become teammates and her attitude completely changes. She was being so nice to me and now we're back to square fucking one. Naruto didn't show it, but he was tormented by the hold the Uchiha girls seemed to put over him. Sasuke looked back and saw Naruto staring at her. She huffed irritably and looked away. Damn it, why is he staring at me again? Just don't look at him, Sasuke, I can't risk letting my guard down again. Naruto sighed as he looked forward again. Sakura noticed the animosity between the two genin and was secretly happy about it. I'm so glad they don't like each other, Sasuke is such a bitch. Before they reached the gates, Kakashi stopped and turned to face his team. They all looked at him curiously as he pulled out the black bag Tazuna gave them. Do not relay the events of Zabuza or those Chunin to anybody. If anybody found out that I took 3 genin on an A-rank mission, then I'd be in trouble. However, seeing as how you 3 did an excellent job on this mission, I am going to split the money the townspeople gave us 3 ways between all of you, Kakashi explained. The 3 genin were surprised as the Jounin began to distribute the money from the bag among his 3 disciples. Wow! Look at all this money! Sakura shouted gleefully. Don't go around flashing it though, if you lose it I won't be responsible and will deny its existence, Kakashi stated. How come we're not doing it 4 ways? You did a lot of work, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto asked. The masked man laughed as he scratched the back of his head. Well, consider it a bribe. I really don't feel like doing all the paperwork to explain how I took my genin team on an A-rank mission and almost risked. Kakashi caught his tongue as he looked at Naruto. This went unnoticed by everybody except the blonde, but he pretended he didn't. You 3 get a long night's rest and meet me at Training Ground 7 tomorrow afternoon. Feel free to sleep in. You deserve it for doing a good job, Kakashi said proudly. The 3 genin pocketed their money and nodded as they followed their sensei through the gates of Konoha. The guards waved at them as they entered the village. Kakashi waved at his team and disappeared, leaving the 3 of them alone. Sasuke left without saying a word towards the Uchiha compound, leaving Naruto and Sakura alone. The blonde was glad to be home. Finally, maybe now I can get some alone time with my scroll, Naruto thought as he began to walk towards his apartment. Much to his surprise, Sakura followed him and grabbed his hand. He turned around curiously to find the pink-haired girl smiling at him. Come on, Naruto, let's go have some ramen to celebrate our mission. Ah damn, she couldn't have picked a worse time to ask me out to dinner, Naruto thought as he examined Sakura. There was a brief silence before the blonde spoke up. I would love to, Sakura-chan, but I am really tired. How about tomorrow? What the fuck? Did he just turn me down? I thought Naruto was head over heels for me. Sakura thought in disbelief as she held onto the boy's hand. Naruto, you're the one always asking me out on dates, and now when I finally offer you one you refuse? What gives? Sakura asked. Naruto pulled his hand from her grip and sighed. It's not that I don't want to, Sakura-chan, it's just that I really feel like getting some sleep. I promise you we'll hang out tomorrow. Sakura looked a bit unhappy about the situation but nodded her head as Naruto took his leave. She shook her head and sighed as she leaned against a nearby wall. Naruto is like a completely different person. It's hard to believe he's the dead last knucklehead he used to be. There's a lot more to him than I originally thought. I need to get to know him better. Sasuke was extremely depressed, to put it lightly. She had a sad look etched across her face as she walked through the doors to her house. Why did I say those things to Naruto? I just ruined my chance to become his friend for good. Damn it! Why am I always thinking about him? Screw him. He's not so great. Sasuke thought angrily as she threw a kunai against her wall, embedding a clock. Despite her inner turmoil, Sasuke knew she was lying to herself. Naruto was without a doubt the most fascinating person she had ever met. Every single time she thought she had him figured out, he would do something new. His wide range of powerful jutsus was a great example. How can he be so strong? He's just like Itachi, Mr. Fucking Perfect. Naruto made me look bad. He even had a damn bridge named after him. The Uchiha girl hated herself for it, but she was deeply jealous of the new Naruto. Ever since she learned about his secret training from Jiraiya, Sasuke found herself in Naruto's shadow. It was not a feeling she was used to. All throughout the academy, Sasuke had always been the top student. She took a decent amount of pride in the fact that she was far superior to all of the other genin. Although that was no longer the case, it seemed. The fact that Naruto, the dead last academy student and known pariah of Leaf Village, could make her look bad was an extreme blow to her pride. Sasuke shook her head as she wandered into her room. How am I going to kill Itachi if I can't even beat Naruto of all people? Sasuke thought, depressed as she lied down on her bed. Her mind continued to race at the thought of the blonde. I'll just have to train harder 7 days a week from dawn till dusk. With my new Sharingan, Naruto won't stand a chance. Kakashi made his way to the Hokage office with his mind in shambles. The Kopinin was proud of Naruto's outstanding assistance during the mission, but the fact that a mere genin held off a swordsman of the mist was just mind-blowing to him. It didn't take long before Kakashi was outside the door of the Hokage's office. He knocked on it, awaiting a response. After a brief moment, he heard the familiar voice of the Hokage, "Come in, Kakashi." The Jounin entered the old man's office and closed the door behind himself. He saw Sarutobi facing the window with his hands folded behind his back. There was a moment of silence before the Jounin spoke up. Naruto is too powerful to be a genin. The Hokage nodded his head without turning around. He's a lot like his father. What did you expect? Kakashi shook his head and replied, I am serious, that kid is Jounin level at least. Why wasn't I told about his training? The Hokage finally turned around and sighed. Don't feel that bad, Kakashi, I wasn't even aware of it for the first year. Jiraiya's actions surprised even me when I found out. Although, I didn't say anything and allowed it to go on, I figured it was probably for the best. I suppose you're right, since he is a Jinchuriki he will need to be strong, Kakashi agreed. The Hokage nodded his head. Naruto is a lot like his father, but without proper guidance he could end up like mother. He was trained so that he would have the ability to handle being a Jinchuriki, and so that he could continue Minato's legacy. Kakashi nodded his head and sighed. That kid is something else. He even made the Uchiha girl look bad by comparison, and she is a pure genius. The Sandaime smiled as he studied the Kopinin. So tell me, how did your mission to Wave Country go? You're a week past your ETA in Konoha. Was your mission a success? Kakashi nodded his head. Yes, it was a bit rough, but we pulled through just fine. The Hokage looked interested. You know, I was going over recent sightings in Wave Country, and they say that Zabuza, the demon of the mist, was spotted there. Kakashi sighed deeply. We fought off Zabuza and a criminal leader named Gato. My team and I completed our mission with 0 casualties and successfully killed 2 missing nin known as the Demon Brothers. The Hokage raised a hand to his chin and looked at Kakashi seriously. So you killed 2 missing nin from Kiri? That might not bode well for our relations with them. Actually, Naruto killed them, Kakashi corrected him. The Hokage was shocked to hear that. He sat down in his chair and shook his head in disbelief. That's not good. Killing at such a young age greatly cripples one's psychological development. Kakashi crossed his arms. Well, it happened so fast that I wasn't able to stop him. Hell, I didn't even know he had the gall to kill people. Although he did seem genuinely remorseful about it. The Hokage sighed deeply as he pulled out his pipe and began to smoke. Please tell me that Naruto didn't find out anything about Whirlpool Country or his clan. Kakashi looked concerned and shrugged. I don't think he did. Although there was a strange thing that happened during the mission. We were at a civilian's house and Naruto walked out because a boy called him a killer. The Hokage intently focused on Kakashi, waiting for him to continue. Sasuke and Sakura volunteered to go talk to him and left afterwards. I stayed with the civilian to ensure the mission priorities. Anyways, 4 hours later, Sasuke and Sakura returned saying that they couldn't find Naruto. That wasn't the strange part though. Then this boy came into the house and claimed that people spotted a red-eyed demon in the forest, Kakashi explained. The Hokage dropped his pipe on his desk and looked concerned. Red eyes. Is something wrong with Naruto's seal? The Kopinin shrugged. I have no idea, but anyways, I followed a trail into the woods and found Naruto later that night. He told me that he located Zabuza's hideout on the northeastern part of the island courtesy of taking a bandit hostage. No! Kakashi, for your sake you better hope that he didn't discover what that place was, the Hokage said sternly. The Jounin looked nervous as he continued. Naruto told me that he went inside. I thought it was too late at that point, but he didn't ask me anything or seem different in any way, so I assume he did not find out that he was in his clan's compound. The Hokage sighed in relief as he shook his head. Well, that's good. I don't want him finding out the truth about that place. Although there was one thing that had me extremely worried, though Zabuza said something about Naruto being part of a great clan to him. That kid is normally energetic and curious, but he didn't say a word about it. I have no idea what that could mean, Kakashi said. For the time being, I would suggest leaving Naruto alone. Alerting him would make it much harder to keep an eye on his behavior, Sarutobi concluded. Please tell me that this mission will be off the record, Kakashi requested. It will be. I do not want anybody finding out about this. I assume your team has been briefed? Kakashi nodded his head. I told them to keep it to themselves and even split the bonus we received from the villagers between the three of them. Good, I am glad you were able to straighten out that mess. From here on out, your team will be restricted to D-rank missions until after the Chunin exams. I don't want Naruto and Sasuke anywhere away from the eyes of Konoha, the Hokage said. Kakashi nodded his head and took his leave. I'll keep you informed if anything new happens. Wait, I have a mission for you, Kakashi. I want you to lead a squad of Umbu to that compound and destroy it. Naruto must never learn about it, the Hokage ordered. I'm not active duty in Umbu anymore, plus I have a genin team to watch, Kakashi replied. If your team can fight off an A-rank criminal like Zabuza, I'm sure they will be fine. Plus, I need you to go, Sarutobi commanded. Kakashi sighed deeply and nodded his head. I'll prepare at once, Hokage-sama. After Kakashi left the office, the Hokage took a long inhale of his pipe. I pray that Naruto never learns about the horrible things that clan did. Naruto was lying in his bed after finally getting home. He opened his scroll, studying it. Here's a list of the basics to learn the bloodline. First, I must have great chakra control check. Second, I must be able to perform earth, fire, and water jutsus. Well, shit. How do I do that? Naruto skimmed through the scroll until he reached the bottom, which had basic jutsus. He read the first one, interested. Doton, Dori Jewel, Earth-style rampart. It showed the necessary hand signs required, a small picture of what the jutsu looked like. That could come in handy, but how exactly would that help me do lava jutsus? Naruto wondered as he started memorizing the hand signs. It is relevant because it teaches you how to harness earth chakra. Once you're able to do earth and fire, you'll have to simultaneously use them to make lava, Kyuubi answered. What the hell? How do you know that and I don't? Naruto asked, shocked. Don't ask me stupid questions, just study your dumb scroll. Naruto did as the Bijou commanded and looked at the second basic jutsu, Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Fire style, Grand Fireball technique. Naruto immediately recognized the jutsu. That's the one Sasuke is always using. That shouldn't be too hard to master. I already know the hand signs for that one. The third basic jutsu was one Naruto recognized from his fight with Zabuza, Suiton, Suihashu. Water wave hand. Naruto laughed as he read the jutsu. I guess this was the only one Zabuza was able to learn from the scroll, hahaha. Well, at any rate, this should be easy to master. I am already good at water jutsus. Naruto looked at the basic jutsus for a minute until an idea crossed his mind. Oh, I get it, these are here because they help maximize the potential of lava and boil jutsus. That rock wall can be used to make a lava fall, and the water and fire jutsus are both aimed attacks which I mix my different elemental chakra with. You're going to need to tread lightly if you intend to keep these bloodline abilities a secret. Training in Konoha is out of the question if you intend on using lava and steam. You're right, I'm going to need a new place to train. Not to mention now that my team is aware of my strength, they'll be keeping a close watch on me, especially Kakashi-sensei. Naruto replied. I have an idea. Isn't there a large forest in the village off limits to almost everybody? Kyuubi asked. Naruto thought for a moment until he remembered what the fox meant. You mean the Forest of Death? I guess that would be the best place to train in secret. It is usually locked up 24/7. I suggest you wake up early and go check it out. It would be a good place to be secretive. Naruto nodded his head in agreement. He couldn't believe it, but lately the fox seemed to be making a lot more sense. Ever since he killed those two Chunin, Naruto found himself listening to the Nine Tails a lot more than usual. Most of the time he tuned out the random ranting of the demon, but lately he was starting to enjoy their conversations. Naruto concealed his scroll as he rested his head and went to sleep. I can't wait for tomorrow. Kakashi's mind was still wandering over the issue regarding Naruto. He feared what the boy would do if he found out the truth about his clan. Naruto can't learn the truth about his mother, Kakashi thought as he shook his head. The Jounin made his way to a certain door and began to knock. Opening the door, a shirtless and tired Asuma answered him. Kakashi? What do you need? The Jounin gave Asuma a serious look and replied, It's about Naruto. Can you tell me a genin managed to master wind chakra in a year? Asuma looked a bit taken aback from this question. I don't know. Why are you asking me? Oh, wait a minute, you're his Jounin instructor. Just how much about wind chakra did you teach him? Kakashi asked curiously. There was a brief silence before Asuma answered, I taught him every wind jutsu I know. He's almost as good as me at some of them. I even got him his own pair of trench knives. You've got it made with that kid on your team, Kakashi. He's going to make the Chunin exams look like a walk in the park. Suddenly, a woman with a robe on came up behind Asuma. Kakashi immediately recognized it as Kurenai and chuckled, Is this a bad time? Asuma shook his head and laughed, Kind of hit me up later, Kakashi, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know about Naruto. The masked Jounin nodded his head and took his leave. As he left, Kurenai looked confused. What did Kakashi want? And what's this about Naruto? Asuma sighed and shook his head. It's nothing, let's go back to bed. The next day was very cloudy and dark. Naruto woke up early as usual and stared at his ceiling, contemplating his plans for the day. I still have all that money I got from the mission. Maybe I should go shopping. I would suggest buying a replacement in clothing. Your orange jumpsuit is going to stick out like a sore thumb if you try to sneak around. You're a fox, why should I take fashion advice from you? Naruto asked as he sat up in his bed. Just be practical. I guess it couldn't hurt to buy a stealthier outfit, but don't think that means the orange is going to go away. Whatever, do what you want, fool. Naruto proceeded to get dressed and gathered his money before walking out the door. As he made his way through the village, he noticed very few people out and about. It wasn't surprising. The weather suggested a high probability of rain. Also, it was still fairly early and most people were just opening their shops for the day. Naruto spent about an hour looking for an appropriate clothing store. He wasn't really in a hurry, seeing as how most were just opening anyways. Upon finally finding a suitable shop, the blonde genin walked inside. As he walked through the door, the shopkeeper instantly recognized who he was. The man gave Naruto an odd look but remained silent as the boy browsed through his shop. Naruto glanced over and saw the look on the man's face. He turned away and sighed as he recognized the look. I hate it when people stare at me like that. Naruto ignored the cold stare of the shopkeeper and looked over his wares. Guess I'll have to wear a lot of black if I want to be stealthy. That shirt looks pretty cool. Naruto found a sleeveless black shirt with an orange swirl on the back. There were several of them, which he decided to pick up. He continued to mix and match different articles of clothing until finally he came up with a suitable outfit. Naruto took the clothes to the front and placed them on the counter in front of the shopkeeper. He eyed the boy suspiciously until Naruto pulled out money to pay. After an awkwardly silent checkout, Naruto took his new clothing home. He immediately dashed through his door and began to change into his new outfit. After he was finished, he hung up his orange jumpsuit and looked himself in a mirror. Naruto's new outfit consisted of a sleeveless black shirt with an orange swirl on the back and black ninja pants with an orange stripe running down each leg. To top it off, Naruto also wore a new pair of black ninja sandals. Overall, his appearance looked much less noticeable, or so he thought. Good, I should be less noticeable now, Naruto thought as he walked out the door once more. He had his scroll concealed in his ninja pouch as he made his way towards the Forest of Death. Naruto only knew of its whereabouts because of Jiraiya. The Sannin would often recommend the forest to Naruto to hone his survival skills, but he saw no point in training in it until now. The blonde jumped across the rooftops of Konoha as he made good progress towards his destination. As he leapt, he heard a loud grumble come from his stomach. There's no way I can go train on an empty stomach. Guess I should grab something to eat. I'd kill for some ramen right now. Maybe you could eat something other than that crap for a change since you have money. The Jinchuriki thought about Kyuubi's suggestion for a moment. What the hell, I might as well try one of these other restaurants. They won't turn down paying customers. Their greed likely overshadows their hatred for you, Kyuubi added. Naruto nodded in agreement as he landed on a busy street. He looked around at the different restaurants and spotted a dango shop. That sounds pretty good. Although I've only had dango once in my life. Naruto made his way towards the restaurant and walked inside. As he entered, he received several odd looks from the inhabitants. The owner came up and eyed him suspiciously. Is there something I can do for you? Yes, I am here for the Dango lunch special, Naruto replied. The man crossed his arms and raised a brow. Do you have money? The blonde pulled out some money and nodded. Yes, sir, I do. The owner sighed as he pointed the blonde to a booth in the back. Naruto took a seat at the booth and looked around the restaurant again. Several of the older people were staring at him, but all of the younger ones didn't pay him any heed. The blonde trailed off and thought as he stared at a wall, I'll have some breakfast, and then I'm going to train in the forest of death all day. Didn't that pussy with the mask say you had to be at your team training ground by noon? Kyuubi asked amused. The reminder irritated Naruto greatly. Damn it, I don't feel like seeing my team and doing some worthless D-rank mission. Naruto? Is that you? A voice sounded. Naruto was drawn from his thoughts by a long blonde-haired girl. Who the hell are you? Ino was completely taken aback by Naruto's rude acknowledgement. She crossed her arms and glared at the genin. What do you mean, who the hell am I? We went to the academy together for the past 4 years, ring a bell, moron? Naruto took a closer look at the blonde and recognized her. Oh, it's you. Ino looked annoyed as Naruto turned back to staring at the wall. I think this is the first time this girl has ever spoken to me. I don't even remember her name. Her name is as insignificant as her pathetic life. Naruto looked over at Ino, who was still standing in front of his table with her arms crossed. Is there something you need? The blonde asked with a careless tone of voice. Can I sit down? Ino asked. The boy shrugged. I don't care. The blonde girl sat down across from Naruto directly in front of the wall he was staring at. He looked at her curiously as she began to speak. So we've never actually spoken to each other before. Why would anybody speak to the dead last? I mean, it's not like he's a human being or anything, Naruto responded sarcastically. There's no reason for you to be such a jerk. I just wanted to talk to you. Ino shouted at him. Fine, what do you want to talk about? Naruto sighed. There was a brief silence before Ino responded. Well, first of all, I wanted to ask you, how in the world did you get a perfect score on the final? Naruto shook his head and sighed deeper. That stuff is easy, I don't see why you're even concerned about it. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you didn't even know the answers to any basic questions a week before it happened. Tell me the truth, I promise I won't tell anybody. I just really want to know. The blonde sighed once more. Anything to shut her up, not to mention now that Sakura knows it's not like it'll be a secret for much longer anyways. Just then, the owner walked over to Naruto's booth and handed him a plate of dango. He also had one in his hand for Ino. Are you eating with him? The blonde girl nodded her head. Yes, I am. The man placed Ino's plate in front of her as well. After he walked away, Naruto picked up his first dango stick and began to eat a dumpling off of it. Well, are you going to tell me or not? Ino demanded as she watched the boy eat. After Naruto finished chewing his food, he answered her. What did you want again? Ugh. Don't play dumb, Uzumaki. You know what I want. Ino shouted. The scene attracted the attention of several nearby people. Upon hearing her words, Ino looked completely embarrassed as she sat down, blushing madly. Ha! Naruto laughed at her as she looked away, trying to hide her embarrassment. You jerk! You did that on purpose! Ino shouted at him. Naruto didn't bother responding as he continued to eat his food. Ino stared at him impatiently before slamming her hand against the table. Seriously, tell me now. Why are you so curious anyways? You didn't give two damns about me a few weeks ago, and now all of a sudden you come demanding information from me that isn't relevant to you in any way whatsoever, Naruto said. Asuma-sensei said that we should be more like you. I want to know why, Ino answered. The blonde looked confused at her answer. What? Why would he say that? Hell if I know. Shikamaru, Chuji, and I thought he was out of his mind, but after hearing about your perfect score on the exam and everything Sakura has been talking about lately, I am beginning to wonder. Naruto finally finished his food and stood up to leave. He approached the owner and handed the man money, including a decent tip. The man looked surprised by the boy's generosity and actually smiled. Have a nice day, kid. Naruto nodded and left the restaurant. He didn't get far before a rabid blonde girl pounced on him from behind, wrapping her arm around his neck. Damn it, Uzumaki. You are not allowed to walk away from me when I am talking to you. Much to Ino's surprise, however, Naruto ignored her still as he leapt onto a nearby rooftop. She growled as she tried to tighten her chokehold on him. It lasted about half a second before Naruto flipped the girl off his back and drew one of his trench knives, holding it to her throat. Leave me alone. I don't have time to play 20 questions with you. Ino looked shocked by Naruto's actions and remained silent as he pulled the weapon back and put it away. The blonde girl took a closer look at the boy with the sun over his head. His hair was golden and luminescent with the glow of the sun overhead. Ino took a closer look at his outfit and found herself impressed. Oh, I never realized that Naruto was so cute before. Wait, what did I just say? Naruto then offered a hand to the girl. Look, I'm sorry Ino, I am just in a bit of a hurry this morning. Here, let me help you up. As she grabbed the boy's hand, he pulled her up to her feet. Ino found herself staring at him the whole time. Naruto looked so different. Without realizing it, Ino was still clenching Naruto's hand tightly. You can let go now, Ino, this is getting awkward, Naruto said. The girl instantly let go of his hand and looked away, embarrassed with a slight blush. It's not like I wanted to touch your hand or anything. That must be why you didn't let go right away. Then got something you want to say? Naruto asked, amused. Before Ino could come up with a comeback, Naruto soared onto a nearby rooftop and began to take off at high speed. Did he just flirt with me? The thought caused Ino to blush shamelessly as she sat down on the rooftop. She shook her head and laughed aloud. No way. There's no way in hell that I would ever date him. Although he is strong from what Sakura says, I know this is the dead last moron I'm thinking about here. It took forever to get that girl off my case, Naruto sighed as he landed on the street, looking around in case he had been followed. The blonde cautiously walked around the corner of the alley he had landed in to observe the outer edges of the forest of death. It was gated and locked, and Naruto could scarcely make out several Chunin patrols wandering the perimeter where he was at. This place looks pretty busy. There's got to be a less public place where I can enter and exit undetected. Naruto, is that you? A voice sounded from behind. The blonde turned around to identify the source and spotted a familiar person. Kiba? What do you want? Fuck, why do I keep running into these people? Naruto inwardly groaned as spotted the 3 members of Team 8 looking at him curiously. Oh snap, it is him, guys. Wow, I can't believe you actually became a genin. Kiba laughed. Naruto looked at him emotionlessly and sighed. I don't have time for your shit, Kiba. Yeah, you must have important stuff to do like D-rank missions. Our team got to go on 2 C-rank missions in the past 2 weeks. Kiba bragged. Wow, this kid needs to die. Big fucking deal, I got a bridge named after me for fighting off missing Nin, Naruto inwardly sighed. Naruto didn't bother saying anything as he looked away and back towards the forest of death. Alright, this area is definitely too populated. I think there might be a small pocket near the edge of the hot springs where I can go in from. Hey, are you listening to me, Do? Kiba shouted. Ignore him, Naruto, it is good to see you again. Congratulations on becoming a genin, Shino spoke up. Naruto turned around and smiled at the shaded bug user. Thanks Shino, and congratulations to you 3 as well. Hi, and Naruto-kun, Hinata managed to say quietly. The blonde turned his gaze towards her and noticed a large blush covering her face. I forgot what your name was again, Hyuga, right? Naruto asked as he approached the girl. Hinata's blush deepened as he extended his hand. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, but I guess you already know that. I am HH Hinata, I know who you are, and Naruto-kun, the shy Hyuga responded as she shook Naruto's hand. Something wrong, Hinata? You look a bit flustered? Kiba asked as he eyed the girl curiously. Naruto placed a hand on her forehead and nodded. You might have a fever. Suddenly, the shy girl fainted upon Naruto's hand touching her forehead. The genin managed to catch her and looked at her concerned. She looks sick, you guys should have kept a closer eye on your teammate. Kiba looked annoyed. Hey, don't go off lecturing me, Uzumaki. Hinata was fine until you showed up. You're the ones who came to me, Naruto shot back. Suddenly, the Hyuga girl woke up and saw herself in Naruto's arms. A scarlet blush covered her face as she saw his sleeveless arms and sparkling blue eyes. Oh my goodness, I am in Naruto's arms. Is this a dream? Hinata thought as she stared longingly at the boy. Naruto-kun, hold me in your arms forever. Hinata sighed passionately as she stared at him. This caused the boy to look down at her confused. Hinata, are you alright? You fainted all of a sudden, and now you're talking really funny. Reality hit Hinata just then. Oh no, I am awake. The white-eyed girl instantly fainted again. Put Hinata down, Naruto, before your ugliness kills her, Kiba shouted. Naruto shook his head and sighed as he handed the unconscious girl to her teammate. Here, go get her checked or something, I gotta go. It was good seeing you again, Naruto, Shino nodded. The blonde waved at the boy as he left, leaving Team 8 alone once more. I wonder what's wrong with Hinata, Kiba said concerned as he began to carry the girl. Shino shook his head and sighed. She's fine, let's take her back to Kurenai-sensei. Naruto spent the next 3 hours stealthily patrolling the perimeter of the Forest of Death. He located several probable entrance sites, but continued searching for a better one. Finally, he reached an area near the mountain range of the Hokage heads that had good cover for him to sneak in through. Naruto looked around cautiously for anybody watching or following him. Unfortunately for him, he saw a flash of pink running towards him. Naruto! What are you doing right outside of my house? Sakura asked as she ran up to the blonde. Damn it, so much for this spot. Naruto looked around and saw several nice homes around him. They weren't extravagant or anything, but they were comfortable looking. Are you following me or something? How did you find out where I lived? Sakura laughed. Naruto sheepishly rubbed the back of his head as he waved at the girl. No, Sakura-chan, I wasn't stalking you or anything, I was just on a walk and ended up over here. Liar! You followed me, didn't you? Sakura giggled. Naruto was slightly confused by the giggle. Seriously, Sakura-chan, I was just looking for somebody and… Before the blonde could finish his sentence, Sakura interrupted him. We both know you're full of crap, Naruto, you were looking for me, admit it. These people are pissing me off. Kyuubi growled. Is Sakura flirting with me? This is the weirdest day of my life. I'll take your silence as a yes, so anyways, Naruto, you still owe me that date at Ichiraku's ramen you promised from yesterday, Sakura stated. Why does everybody notice me and want to hang out with me the one day that I am trying to be invisible? Naruto inwardly groaned. Well, I already had dango for breakfast, and Naruto was cut off again by Sakura. It's almost noon though. You haven't had lunch yet. I'm sure you're probably hungry, Sakura said. What? It's almost noon already? Damn, so much for my training today, the Jinchuriki inwardly sighed. What about Kakashi-sensei and our daily meeting with him at the training ground? Naruto asked. Screw that, Kakashi-sensei is always late anyways, we'll just go after lunch, Sakura reasoned. Finally, Naruto nodded his head in agreement. Alright, let's go get some ramen then. What a fucking waste of time, don't go hang out with this dumb mortal kid. You have training to do. Shut up, Kyuubi. I can't train right now anyways. The fox growled at his comment but didn't bother replying as Naruto and Sakura made their way to Ichiraku's. Sasuke was furiously trying to master the technique she copied from Kakashi during the battle with Zabuza. The Uchiha girl managed to copy the basics of Chidori and had been honing it to a certain degree. Her progress had been decent for the past few hours, but nowhere near what would be considered perfect. Sasuke had been training since the crack of dawn. This wasn't unusual for the Uchiha girl, but this morning she amplified her routine threefold. Even the basics were exhausting. Lately, Sasuke had been improving her speed. She added hardcore cardio and resistance weight training in her legs to improve her speed. I have to get faster if I want to keep up with my Sharingan, then if I can master this jutsu from Kakashi-sensei, I'll be much stronger. Naruto's water jutsus won't stand a chance against lightning. For the first time that day, the girl took a break as she walked back inside her house. She looked at the clock on her microwave and noticed the time. It's 5 till noon, guess I should go waste a few hours doing D-rank missions. Naruto and Sakura were seated at Ichiraku's ramen stand happily eating. The pink-haired girl smiled at the carefree look her teammate had as he went through several bowls. So anyways, Naruto, tell me a little more about yourself. I barely know anything about you other than what I've heard from the academy and seen on our missions, Sakura requested. The blonde swallowed his current mouthful of ramen and looked over at Sakura. There was a brief silence before he spoke up. Well, there's not really much to say about me, Sakura-chan. Oh, come on, tell me about your childhood or something, Sakura replied. Sakura then saw a sad look cross Naruto's face at the mention. My childhood, several depressing memories swept through Naruto's mind at the mention. Other than his memories with Kyuubi, one memory haunted him still. When he was a 6-year-old boy, he stood across from a large crowd of villagers. They all stared at him angrily with crossed arms as he cried his heart out. This memory caused Naruto to drop his chopsticks and stare into his bowl. Sakura looked a bit concerned by his actions and put a hand on his shoulder. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it, I'll be here if you do though. Naruto looked up at her as his mood changed back to normal. It's nothing worth mentioning, Sakura-chan. I was just an orphan is all. The pink-haired girl looked confused as Naruto's sad expression changed to a casual, happy one. Sakura decided to change the subject afterwards, so anyways, how did you end up as Jiraiya-sama's apprentice? Naruto shrugged at her question. I am not really sure, to be honest, he just found me one day and it sort of happened. There's gotta be more to it than that, Sakura said persistently. Naruto sighed and shook his head. Honestly, there isn't. Why does Naruto always keep things from people? It's like he's trying to hide from everything or everyone, Sakura concluded as the boy ate his ramen. Enough about me, Sakura-chan, I'm more interested in hearing about you, Naruto said. I'm not, don't make me sit through this shit. You're curious about me? Sakura asked gleefully as she put a finger to her mouth. Naruto nodded at the girl, causing her to smile. Well, I guess I'll tell you about my family first. My mom is a village elder, and my dad is a medic nin. They're both pretty strict and don't let me do much of anything fun. Although ever since I became a ninja, my dad has been giving me a weekly allowance and mom lets me stay out late, Sakura explained. This is more boring than watching grass grow. Your parents sound pretty cool, Sakura-chan. Got any other family members? Naruto asked. Sakura nodded her head. I have grandparents and an aunt, but that's about it. So why did you decide to become a ninja, Sakura-chan? Naruto asked. I don't want to listen to this nonsense. Shut up, Kyubi, for fuck's sake, I can't even hear her with you yelling in my head. Well, I decided to become a ninja because I want to become a medic nin. It is what my dad does, and he is always telling me stories about how Lady Tsunade, the Sannin, is a super great medic. I want to become respected and talented like her, Sakura answered. Naruto nodded his head interested. That's commendable. Jiraiya used to tell me a lot about her. He said she was the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Wouldn't that make her related to you? Kyubi asked. Naruto was completely caught off guard by the fox's question as he looked past Sakura at the wall. No way, I guess I didn't realize that. Tell me more about Jiraiya-sama, I hear he very powerful, Sakura requested. The Jinchuriki nodded his head in agreement. Jiraiya-sensei is very strong, but he's got his weaknesses. Sakura looked shocked at the mention. Weaknesses? Are you kidding? He's a legendary Sannin. He's kind of a perv, Naruto said slowly. Sakura looked unconvinced. You must be mistaken, nobody that exalted could be a creeper. Naruto laughed at her statement and shook his head amused. Well, whenever he comes back to Konoha, be sure to tell him that. So why did you decide to become a ninja? Sakura asked curiously. Naruto smiled at her and instantly answered, that's easy, I want to become Hokage. Sakura sighed and shook her head. There's got to be more to it than that. Why do you want to be the Hokage? It's a hard job that requires a lot of responsibility. Old man Sandaime is why he's done so much for me, and he's the one who talked me into becoming a ninja. He said that if I became a powerful hero like Yondaime, then everybody in the village would start noticing me and treating me like I am somebody, Naruto answered honestly. You don't have to become Hokage to get people to like you. You're a pretty cool guy, Naruto. A lot cooler than I originally thought. If you opened up more, I am sure people would like you, Sakura responded. Naruto looked away and sighed. It's not that simple for me. Sure it is. I mean, nobody hates you. I'll bet if you did something nice for a bunch of people that it would go a long way, Sakura suggested optimistically. Maybe she's right. Maybe if I show the villagers that I am a good guy, then maybe they will start liking me. Don't listen to her words. These people are never going to change. You'll always be the Kyubi kid to them. Trying to become a public kiss-ass will only waste your time and end up biting you in the ass. Maybe, Sakura-chan, Naruto replied distantly. The two finished up their meals shortly afterwards and Naruto paid. He and Sakura left the ramen stand together. We should get to the training ground quickly, we're already an hour late, Sakura said as the two headed out. Upon reaching Team 7's training ground, Naruto and Sakura were relieved to see nobody there. Phew, we made it before anybody else, Sakura cheered as she and Naruto arrived. Naruto sat down near his tree as Sakura leaned against the bridge. Suddenly, the two of them heard a voice. You two idiots are an hour late, and so is Kakashi-sensei. What a waste of my time. They both saw Sasuke sitting in a tree sharpening a kunai with a bored look on her face. That's why we're late. Why bother coming on time if Kakashi-sensei is always late? Sakura yelled. Sasuke ignored the pink-haired girl as she caught sight of Naruto's new outfit. She eyed the boy up and down with an approving smirk on her face. Wow, Naruto looks really cute today. The blonde looked up and managed to catch Sasuke staring at him. She instantly broke eye contact and huffed, causing him to sigh. After a moment, Sasuke spoke up. So, Sakura, you and Naruto had good timing showing up at the same time. We were having lunch, Sakura said as she glared at Sasuke. That immediately caught the Uchiha's attention. Lunch? They were eating lunch together? Sakura managed to catch the angry look on Sasuke's face and stuck her tongue out. The Sharingan wielder burned with jealousy at the thought. That whore. How dare she move in on him? Sakura beamed with pride as flipped Sasuke off. The Uchiha girl snarled as she looked away. Whatever, I don't care, those two idiots belong together. Sasuke managed to convince herself. Hey Naruto-kun, can I sit next to you? Sakura asked in a girly voice as she held her hands together in front of Naruto. The blonde looked up and smiled. Sure thing, Sakura-chan. Sasuke didn't look because she knew she would kill Sakura if she did. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Sasuke kept repeating in her head as she sharpened her kunai harder. Naruto-kun, you look so cute in that outfit. Sakura squealed in a fangirl manner as she wrapped her arm around his. The way she said Naruto-kun almost made Sasuke sick. That goddamn banshee is going to die. Sasuke immediately jumped out of the tree and charged towards Sakura. Morning, guys, Kakashi said cheerfully as he walked across the bridge. This instantly caused the Uchiha girl to stop in her tracks and look at the masked man. Morning, Sakura and Naruto said in unison as they stood up. Kakashi looked at his team and sighed. Well, I've got good news and I've got bad news. What's the news? Naruto asked. The good news is the Chunin exam is a month away. The bad news is, I will be gone for the next 2 weeks and unable to train you three for it, Kakashi began. What? Where are you going, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked in disbelief. You guys might not know this, but I am a former Anbu. Even though I am a Jounin instructor, I am still technically part of Anbu and I have an important out-of-village mission to go on, Kakashi answered. Why do you have to go? Can't they send somebody else? Naruto asked. Kakashi shook his head. No, it is a covert mission that I am required for. I am sorry, but you three will have to train on your own for the next 2 weeks. Where is this trip to? Sasuke asked. I am unable to tell you three anything other than the fact I am going. You don't have any more missions for the next month. Train hard for the Chunin exams. When I return, I will help you three make the final preparations, Kakashi elaborated. Isn't that a bit unfair though? We won't have our sensei to train for the Chunin exams, Sakura shouted. You three have each other, feel free to spar and train together. The Chunin exam will require a lot of teamwork. This is a perfect opportunity to get more training in, Naruto and Sasuke thought simultaneously. When are you leaving? Naruto asked. In a few hours anyways. I just wanted you three to know. Seeing as how you are all very experienced for Genin, it shouldn't matter much if I miss a few weeks with you. Just be sure not to slack off, Kakashi answered. The three Genin nodded in unison. A moment later, Kakashi disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Time to ditch these two and go train, Naruto and Sasuke thought simultaneously again. Well, I'll see you later, Sakura-chan, Naruto said before darting into the distance. This left Sasuke and Sakura alone. The pink-haired girl began to walk away until she felt a strong kick hit her in the back. This sent the pink-haired girl flying to the ground full force. Sakura turned over and looked up worried as Sasuke stomped on her leg. Sakura cried out in pain as Sasuke began to beat her. You think you're something, little Miss Haruno? I have had enough of your bullshit, Sasuke growled as she stomped on one of Sakura's arms. After a minute, the raven-haired girl stopped. She watched Sakura groan in pain and sit up. What the hell is your problem, Sasuke? Sakura shouted as she grabbed her leg and grimaced in pain. I'm only going to tell you this once, stay away from Naruto, Sasuke shouted. Sakura stood up and dusted herself off, and then the situation hit her. Why do you care? I can't help it that Naruto likes me. That was the wrong thing to say to Sasuke. The Uchiha tackled Sakura to the ground and began to punch her in the face. Fuck you. Sakura kneed Sasuke in the stomach and managed to push the girl off herself. Get off me, you crazy emo bitch. Sasuke dropped into a fighting stance and smirked at Sakura darkly. You want to fight me, Haruno? Make my day, Barbie. Sakura shook her head and laughed. Ha ha ha, you're just a waste of my time. Sasuke cracked her fists and glared at Sakura. You don't even like Naruto, stop messing with his head. I do like him, as a matter of fact. You just need to back off, Sakura shot back. Sasuke shook her head irritated before turning around and leaving. Sakura laughed at her as she walked away. What the hell is wrong with that girl? Why does she care so much about me and Naruto hanging out? Sakura wondered as she headed home. Sasuke got a considerable distance away before she screamed out angrily, damn it! Why does my life suck? The Uchiha immediately channeled chakra into her arm and punched a nearby tree, causing it to splinter and split in half. This isn't fair. Why should she be allowed to date Naruto? I am so much better than her in every way, why doesn't Naruto like me? The raven-haired girl sat against a tree and looked down in shame. She knew why Naruto didn't like her. It was her own fault for pushing him away. Fuck this, I am going to train harder and harder. I don't need Naruto and I don't need anybody. After a few minutes of silence, Sasuke managed to repress the thought of Naruto and Sakura. Sasuke stood up and went through the hand seals of Chidori. After a moment, she channeled a large amount of lightning in her hand. It sparked powerfully and shook as she held her hand out. I wonder what else I can do with this. The Uchiha girl then swung her hand as she spliced her chakra, launching a large number of lightning needles impaling a bunch of trees. I'm going to experiment with this. I will become stronger, Sasuke shouted inwardly. A large group of Umbu were waiting the east gate of Konoha. Approaching them was the famed copy Nin Kakashi. He was attired in a standard Umbu outfit with his dog mask covering his face. As he walked into the group, one man turned to Kakashi and asked, "Kakashi-senpai, are you ready to leave for Wave Country?" The dog masked Jounin nodded his head. "Yes, let's leave immediately." Naruto raced back to his second choice entrance for the Forest of Death. It was a remote-looking area with a lot of trees to cover him. Wasting no time, Naruto immediately headed into the Forest of Death. He traveled for about an hour until finally he reached a large clearing in the forest. This ought to work. I doubt anybody comes through here, and even if they do, it's easy to hide in this place. The blonde sat down against a tree as he pulled out his scroll. He skimmed through it and reread the basic jutsus on the list. He memorized the hand seals to do them and then put the scroll away. Well, I guess I should start practicing this. Doton, Doryu-jul. Earth-style rampart. Naruto felt the ground beneath him crack slightly upon doing the technique. He sighed as tried it again. This time it created a larger crack in the ground beneath him. This is going to take forever. Mass shadow clone time. Tajo Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Suddenly, 100 Narutos appeared. Naruto then delegated different assignments to each clone. He made 40 of them practice the earth jutsu, another 40 the fire one, and 20 for the water one. He put less on the water jutsu because he was already skilled at it, which would make it easier to master. I should camp out here, it would be easier than sneaking in and out all the time. That's a great idea, at least then you wouldn't be wasting time talking to weak idiots about their meaningless lives. Naruto watched his clones practice tirelessly and sighed as he rested his head against the tree. Well, Jiraiya-sensei did teach me survival training. I guess it would be possible to spend a week or two in this forest. Although I'm sure somebody would notice if I was gone for 2 weeks. Put up a barrier so that Hokage can't use his crystal ball to find us, Kyuubi suggested. How do I do that? Naruto asked. Let me do it. I will need to take control of your body for a minute or so though. What? Hell no, I don't trust you, Kyuubi. Well, it's that or a squad of Umbu showing up to take your little scroll away from you. It's pretty obvious that the Uzumaki clan was feared by Konoha. I don't think they would take kindly to you learning the bloodline, Kyuubi convinced. Naruto sighed in defeat as he began to channel Kyuubi's chakra. He felt his senses temporarily cut off as he allowed the fox to take control of his body. True to his word, Kyuubi put up a barrier. After a few minutes, Naruto felt control of his body returning. I am surprised you kept your word, Naruto said as he sat down against the tree again. Helping you helps me. I have no reason to turn against you since you pretty much do what I say anyways. So how does this barrier of yours work? Naruto asked, interested. It's like Genjutsu except 100 times better. Trust me, nobody is going to find you in here. Well, I've got a long 2 weeks of training ahead of me then. Naruto stood and crossed his arms as he thought about something he himself could do. I guess it couldn't hurt